There is finally a chill in the air on Friday night in Connecticut, and that means it's time for high school football. Welcome to Bill Mignault Field on the campus of Ledyard High School as Game Day brings you exciting high school football action. Casey O'Neill, along with the sports doctor, Keith O'Brien, the stat guru to my left, and I got a little junior member of Game Day over in the corner helping us out as we bring you the Ledyard High School Colonels playing host to the Cranston East Thunderbolts from just over the border in Rhode Island, as the day brings you its continuing coverage of high school sports in southeastern Connecticut. Tonight, Keith O'Brien, it is tip-off time.
Sun's going down here in Ledyard. You got the leaves are turning color on some of the trees, and it's got a feel of football season, early football season in the air, Casey. But, we're excited to be here at Ledyard High School, and these two teams, one from out of state, Cranston East, which we don't really know about too much in southeastern Connecticut. We'll tell you a little bit about them as the game goes along. But we are here with last year's creme de la creme in the ECC, the Ledyard Colonels, coming off of a undefeated regular season and losing to St. Joe's in the state finals. And I think we're all anxious, Casey, to get the season underway. And what better place to do it than right here at Ledyard, Connecticut?
Lots of storylines tonight to talk about. We had a chance to talk to both coaches. Things are a lot different in the Ledyard High School football program this year, and we're going to talk a lot about what the new look of the ECC is going to be, what the teams are to watch. Lots to talk about. Now, if you're wondering, hey, I can't see those guys, I can only hear them. Well, that's right, because this year, Friday night football is going to be brought to you audio only on theday.com or streaming on the Day app. But have no fear, come Tuesdays, the genius that is Peter Wappy will present to you an NFL film style package. We've got the coaches mic'd up. He's in there pregame, he's in there halftime. You've got the voices of Keith O'Brien and Casey O'Neill, and you will on Tuesday mornings have a brilliant video package that we've known to come and appreciate from the masterwork of Peter Wappy at the Day. So you can listen to us on Friday night, and then you can watch the game highlights on Tuesday morning. And so, Keith, we are ready for some football action, and I think we are going to see right away. Tell us a little bit about this Cranston East team, a very big team coming from Rhode Island.
Boy, 75 kids on the varsity roster. Big indeed, Casey. A lot of numbers over there. In the last 4 years, Cranston East has been one of the best high school football teams in the L Division in Rhode Island. They've been to the Super Bowl 3 out of the last 4 years in Rhode Island, losing 2 years ago in the Super Bowl to Bishop Hendrickson, losing last year in the semifinals to LaSalle Academy. And they got a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. They've got a lot of speed. They like to run the ball out of the wing tee. And you know what? They are primed for a very, very good season. And their expectations, again, this year are to be in the top 4 in Rhode Island, Casey. So a good team coming in here out of state.
Yeah, and if you know those names, Bishop Hendrickson and LaSalle Academy, that's because years ago, New London High School and then Ledyard High School started playing teams from Rhode Island, trying to get higher levels of competition. Bishop Hendrickson and LaSalle, no strangers. Now we are going to pause for a moment, ladies and gentlemen, as we pay honor to our country. Let's not forget, today is the 14th anniversary of 9/11, our national anthem. The national anthem by the Ledyard High School Marching Band. After a moment of silence and a tribute to those fallen and remembered, as well as the first responders. Of course, 14 years ago today, the United States suffered one of the worst domestic tragedies in the history of this country, and since then we have used sports as a backdrop. That day reminded us that sports is a place to escape and a place to go to, and it can really echo the sentiments. If you haven't read Mike DeMoro's fantastic column this morning on The Day or theday.com, go read it. Really puts sports into perspective. And as much fun as it is to be here on a Friday night and do this high school football game, we would be remiss if we did not take a moment to remember those who meant so much, did so much, and served so much 14 years ago, continuing on to today.
Yeah, well said, Casey. Well said. Nice job. Did you? I've served.
I did not know.
I was in the Army. 6 years.
Well, thank you for
6 years.
Thank you very much.
We're
going to
see the new look Ledyard Colonel offense right out the gate this afternoon.
Yes, we are. Ledyard is going to receive. They will be going right to left in your imagination. They are in the home blue and gold helmets with the gold helmets with the L. And on the left, Cranston East in white shirts with green bottoms, like the uniforms for Cranston East. Their kickoff is going to be by Jeriel Rodriguez. And off it goes, spiraling kick that lands at the 30-yard line and pops back in bounds. And it's going to be recovered by Cranston East. Right off the bat, Wesley Isom, number 9, on what amounted to a onside kick, if you will. It was a pop-up squib kick down the right sideline. The Ledyard receiver wanted to let it go out of bounds, and it never did.
Huge miscue there by Ledyard on the opening kickoff, and players are waiting for the ball to go out of bounds. And you know, once that ball goes 10 yards, Casey, it's a live ball. Big mistake early here for Ledyard in the opening drive.
And we're going to get our first chance to see number 27, John Anderson. He's the quarterback for Cranston East. He will operate out of the pistol. Right next to him, he is going to have number 28, Malik Gavick. That's his main guy. Gavick gets the call, cuts to the outside where there's nothing there. Nice pursuit on the play. Ledyard, of course, with some new defensive members, and that was Max Ebden coming off the edge along with number 33, Manny DeShield Sanabria out of the backfield. The safety came up and stopped him for a gain of maybe a half a yard.
Make no bones about it here. The strength of this Ledyard defense is their front 5 or 6 players. Very, very good up front, especially at the nose tackle position, Casey.
Joe Hernandez split left. C.J. Dummett split right for Cranston. Shotgun, Anderson looking to throw. Sharp over the middle, and it was deflected that time. Big number 77 on the Ledyard defensive line. Leandri. That's Michael Leandri. He's one of the bigs on the Ledyard sideline. Got a paw up and knocked it down. And it's going to be 3rd and 10 for Cranston East.
Definite passing situation here for Cranston, 3rd and 10. Look for some pressure coming up the middle here from this Ledyard defense.
Ledyard defense, of course, with some veterans in the secondary. Luke Saccone along with Justin Carter. They're going to be asked to do a lot today. Saccone is out there one-on-one with Hernandez. Dummett being guarded by Ebden. Hernandez tries to throw the quick slant, incomplete. We're going to have a penalty flag on the play. Looks like we're going to have some movement on the Cranston East offensive line that's going to back them up 5.
Early going here, the Ledyard defense on the field, Casey, after the miscue on the kickoff, and seems their defense, as of right now, is up to the challenge to bailing the team out, and they're big people up front, very, very active, and, you know, they were put in a tough spot here early. The defense is responding.
That Ledyard defense, they play a 3-4. They like to bring pressure. You're going to hear the names Leandri, Big Tanner Daggett in the middle, Nova, the linebackers, Krauth, Johnson, Hanlon, and Carver. In the secondary, you're going to hear names like Saccone, Ebden, Carter, and DeShield Sanabria. 3rd and 15 for Cranston East. Handoff is going to be kept by Anderson, but nothing there. Stopped almost immediately. Coming out of the pile is Justin Carter, the cornerback/safety, stopping John Anderson for a gain of maybe a yard. It's going to bring up 4th and 15, but Cranston East being at the at the 22-yard line, they're going to obviously go for it here on 4th and 12 from the 22.
You know, Anderson is not known early going here for his passing skills. He's a 3-year starter running back, inherited the quarterback position last year at the end of the year, and you're going to see a lot of that tonight. You're going to see Anderson keep the ball and tuck and run an awful lot here, Casey. Big 3rd down for the Ledyard defense.
Dummett splits out wide right along with Sam Villeda. Anderson gets the snap, and again, penalty flags. Looks like the center wanted to snap it. Anderson jerked to get the ball back, and the ball wasn't snapped, so we're going to get an illegal procedure penalty. That's going to back Cranston East up. First game of the year, obviously a little bit of nervousness going on here for the Cranston East side.
Yeah, we saw a lot of this last week. We did a scrimmage together at Montville High School, and you guys kind of expect this, Casey, wouldn't you? I mean, the first game, the first drive of the season, some jitters, just some timing issues there with the offensive line.
Dummett wide right along with Tristan Murray. Anderson in the shotgun. He has got Rashad Bryant in the backfield. And another penalty. We're going to get a third consecutive illegal procedure penalty against Cranston East. And the Thunderbolts are going in the wrong direction. That's, by the way, a great nickname. I'm a big fan. I am a big fan of the Thunderbolts.
You guys can't see this at home, but the Thunderbolts actually look like the New York Jets. And I had a chance to talk to the coach, and he had the little Cranston East symbol on his shirt, and I'm thinking to myself, these guys, the Jets?
Yeah, they do look like the helmets look like the Jets. They look like the Jets
of the Joe Namath era.
Of the Joe Namath era, with the white shirts, with the green letters, green pants, green socks, and the green helmets. It's a very, very striking uniform. Anderson's got some work cut out for him. He's in the shotgun. He's got Malik Gavick. Anderson looking to throw. Quick throws out to the right side. It goes to Dummett. That's his number one receiver. Dummett stopped well short at the original line of scrimmage, but a penalty flag comes in late, and we're looking at maybe a late hit on Ledyard, and if that's the case, that's going to give Cranston East an automatic first down. Let's see what the call is on the sideline.
Boy, a great defensive stand by the Ledyard defense. It would be a shame right now if they picked up something stupid.
It is personal foul. Personal foul against the Ledyard Colonels on 4th and 20. After a 5 or 6 yard gain, the Ledyard Colonels get banged with a personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, which is not only going to give Cranston East a first down, but it's going to move the ball all the way inside to just about the 15-yard line of the Ledyard Colonels. So first the muffed kick by the Colonels, giving Ledyard putting the Ledyard defense on its heels, and now a personal foul penalty. They're looking like they're saying here that this is going to be
post-possession
penalty, which would mean that Ledyard would get the ball but be backed up to their own 15. Let's see what comes out of this.
Early season for everybody, officials included, and it's been a lot of laundry on the field in the first couple plays. 3 straight illegal procedure penalties, a personal foul. So 5 out of the first 9 plays marred by a penalty early going here, Casey.
I mean, if it was on the field, so I don't see how. But Ledyard's clapping, and the defensive players are heading off the field. So what we have there, folks, was on 4th and 20. Cranston East failed to get the first down. After the play had been whistled dead and was over, you've got a Ledyard personal foul, and they're going to back Ledyard up to their own 15-yard line. But Ledyard will retain possession, which will get possession, rather. So the Colonels' offense making its first appearance of the season, led by number 15, the senior quarterback, Ty Ebden. And he's going to have behind him new running back, Manny DeShield Sanabria. He'll be in the shotgun go. Ledyard coming out 5 wide right off the bat. Trips right, splits left. The lefty, Ebden, tries to shoot for DeShield Sanabria on a little post route, but just overthrew it. Ledyard coming right out 5 wide. What happened to the slow it down that Jimmy Butecourt told us about?
We talked to the coach last night for about 45 minutes on the phone. He said you see a different Ledyard Colonel offense. That didn't look any different than it was last year, Casey.
Not at all. So you've got Luke Saccone and Max Ebden along with Herman Winston all split out right now. Justin Carter's split out there as well. Saccone to the left. Now DeShield Sanabria goes into the backfield. Ebden from the shotgun. Ebden, delayed handoff. Nice hole by DeShield Sanabria, but plugged quickly. Get used to hearing the name Jay Bast. He's the biggin, and he's the hitter that brings the heat for Cranston East, and that time he plugged up that hole in a hurry.
Yeah, 3rd and long here coming up for Ledyard. In Casey, early going, you're going to see how much Ebden is going to be relied upon in this offense to make them go this year. He's a senior. He was returning from last year.
3 wide for Ledyard. DeShield Sanabria in the backfield. Ebden to DeShield Sanabria, looking for some room. Cuts it back up. Good pursuit from the Cranston East defense. And coming out of the pile for Cranston East is linebacker number 33, Ramon Rosario. And that will bring up 4th down, and Ledyard 3 and out on their first possession. They'll send in Luke Saccone, a 3-year starter at punter and place kicker, and he will kick it away back to Cranston East. Cranston East is going to send 2 men back deep, including Malik Gavick, one of their speed guys, and C.J. Dummett. Those are 2 of their best skill position players. They're standing right at midfield. Saccone stands at his own 5-yard line, ready to punt this ball away to Cranston East. And we're going to get a timeout, Cranston East, and that's a good time to tell you that Game Day is brought to you by the M.J. Sullivan Automotive Corner and Connecticut Family Magazine. Now, M.J. Sullivan Hyundai, where no money down means no money down. You know, you can lease a 2015 Sonata Sport for no money down and only $279 a month for 36 months. You know, they're going to pay your first payment. Keith, they're going to pay your upfront sales tax. AJ, they're going to pay your registration and your dealer conveyance fees. Sports Stats Girl, you pay $0 down and only $279 a month for a 2015 Hyundai Sonata Sport. Now, that's only at M.J. Sullivan Hyundai, corner of Broad and Coleman Streets in New London. If you want to see the entire inventory, go to mjsullivanauto.com.
I'll take the Corvette, Casey O'Neill.
I don't believe that's offered.
We'll see what happens.
8:27 remaining here in the first period. We have no score. Saccone standing on his own 5. Low snap. Nice punt by Saccone. Bounces at the 45-yard line and takes a Ledyard bounce out of bounds at the 48. So good field position for the Thunderbolts of Cranston East. They will take over in Ledyard territory at the 48-yard line. No score here in the early going at Ledyard High School between the Ledyard High School Colonels and the Cranston East Thunderbolts. I'm telling you, big fan of the name.
No, I know you are. And, Ledyard defense is coming back on the field again, and this is their front 6 or 7, the bread and butter of this team on the defensive side of the ball. They get some big guys up front, and the Thunderbolts try to establish a run in the first possession, barring a few penalties. But field position game here is being won so far by Cranston East.
Big Brendan Lanigan, the center for Cranston East, old school. He comes out to the ball ahead of everybody else. John Anderson, the quarterback, in the shotgun. He's got Gavick right next to him. Motion, roll out. Anderson's looking to keep it. Nowhere to go. Bottled up. Cuts it back. Nice job that time. That's the running back. John Anderson turns nothing into an 8-yard gain. Derek Johnson had him bottled up in the backfield, and he spun him inside out and got himself 8 yards.
Ledyard defense sold out on that play. They brought a linebacker blitz, and they actually had all 9 guys in the box, 9 out of 11 guys in the box on that play. And, the thing about that kind of defense, Casey, is if Anderson can break that first wave, there's going to be running room.
Yeah, that means you're going to put a lot of pressure on the linebackers to get up in those holes and make tackles, or else you're leaving Justin Carter and Luke Saccone out there all alone in the secondary. Pistol formation. Anderson, this time he does hand off around the left side. Nice speed to the corner. Broken tackles. Down to the 15-yard line goes Malik Gavick all the way down into the red zone. What a nice run that time. Gavick showing power and speed.
Gavick broke a tackle off the left edge and didn't look back. Ran downhill, Casey, for about 20 yards. And again, if you can break past that first wave of defenders of the Ledyard defense, there's some gains to be made there.
That time, Gavick showed real speed to the corner. Nice, tough off-tackle running. Broke a couple tackles. And, you said that Ledyard is selling out on the run. And right there was a good example of if you're going to miss a tackle against the speed of Anderson and the speed of Gavick, this is a team, Cranston East, that can make big plays.
Yeah, back-to-back plays. The Ledyard defense came with a run blitz. They brought in a cornerback, leaving their safeties exposed on the outside. And that's what happens. If you do not make the tackle at the initial point of attack, then there's going to be some yards picked up. And we've seen it already here between Anderson and Gavick. There's some quick, shifty, strong backs. There's yards to be made out there for the Cranston team.
Jim Bunicor, coach of Ledyard, has a lot of confidence in Justin Carter and Luke Saccone, his senior defensive backs, 3-year starters at the position. He's leaving them. He does not believe that Anderson, the converted running back, is a throwing threat. He's leaving them in man coverage, giving them a chance to make plays. And so far, Cranston East has still been able to move the ball on the ground. Gavick back in the game as the running back. Anderson coming out, pistol formation, in motion. Kayshawn Felix. Anderson to Gavick, straight up the middle. Not a lot there. Tackle made on the play by Jonathan Carver, the linebacker for Ledyard. It's going to bring up 2nd and 9 as he gained 1.
Cranston going with a small field now. Second down from about the 10-yard line. So let's see how well this Ledyard defense tightens up, Casey.
I'll tell you, John Anderson's going to be the most tired guy on the field because he runs to the sideline in between each play to get the next play. So not only is he playing quarterback and running the football, he's running sideline to sideline just to get the play in. Pistol formation, Gavick is the lone set. Anderson in the short shot. Snap, hands to Gavick. Gavick brought down very quickly in the backfield. Shooting the gap was Derek Johnson, the linebacker, and he got Gavick in the backfield. That's going to back up Cranston. 3rd and 12.
Ledyard defense is surely selling out on the run, bringing everything but the kitchen sink. Casey O'Neill, you're early going.
Yeah, what Ledyard's doing right now is they're taking both of their inside linebackers, which is Johnson in that case and Carver, and they're shooting run gaps, and they're trying to get in between in between their own 3-4. So they're getting in between their two tackles and trying to get in between the nose and the end by shooting run gaps. And what we saw is if you miss the tackle and you can bounce to the outside, you get a big play. But if you don't break the tackle, as you saw there, it's a very gambling strategy. One of these times, Anderson's going to pull it out of Gavick's stomach and take a shot. Now this time, Anderson has Andre Garcia in the backfield with him. Gavick is split out left along with Joe Hernandez. C.J. Dummett is going to have sophomore Max Ebden on him down to the right. Let's look for that matchup. Anderson in motion. Anderson fakes, goes up the middle. Daggett wraps him up almost immediately, and then Colin Krauth finishes him off. Nice play there, 75. Tanner Daggett bottled him up, forced pressure into the backfield, and then Krauth absolutely ended the play. And that is going to back Cranston up even more now. It's going to be 4th and 13. We'll see if they go for it or if they are going to try to kick what would amount to be a 35-yard field goal.
Krauth read that play beautifully. He came on the outside on a full-out run blitz, and he had pursuit on the back end of the play. Great stop by the Ledyard defense here. 4th down, Casey.
Hernandez left, Dummett right. Cranston East is going to go for it. Gavitt in the backfield along with Garcia. Anderson fakes, looks to pass, throws over the middle, almost intercepted that time. Jeffrey O'Hanlon, the middle linebacker. He is the Mike. He's the strong side linebacker for the Colonels, and he almost had an interception, but instead turnover on downs, and the Ledyard football team will get its second crack at it. Offense back on the field for the Colonels. They'll have it 1st and 10 at their own 16-yard line.
Ledyard defense coming up big here. Back-to-back possessions with real good field position for Cranston East, but the bend but don't break mentality for the Ledyard defense.
DeShield Sanabria is the lone set in the shotgun with Ebden. Ebden, snap. Gives it to DeShield Sanabria, but now Ebden keeps and breaks a tackle. A little read option that time by Ebden, and Ty Ebden kept it that time for a gain of 2. I thought for sure the ball was in DeShield Sanabria's hands, but Ebden, tricky, pulls it back for a gain of 2.
Big linebacker Jay Bast on the stop again for Cranston East, and he is a load down there. Yeah. He's a big kid. He moves side to side very well at the linebacker position. He's quick. He's strong. He does it all for Cranston East out there.
Yeah, it was pretty clear after talking to Coach Jimmy Bunicor of Ledyard that they are going to know where Bast is on every play. He said he is their defensive motor. Ebden from the shot. Bast showing pressure. Ebden rolls weak side, looking down the field. Got a man open, puts it up in the air. Tipped and incomplete. Intended for Justin Carter down the right sideline. But with him was Anderson. John Anderson, the quarterback of Cranston East. Great athlete. Plays both ways. Right there with him. And Ebden just underthrew it. He's rolling to his weak side, so he had to throw across his body. Couldn't quite get enough on it.
Nice touch throw by Ebden. A little late on the delivery. But, again, there's Anderson, his speed, his wheels making a play for Cranston East.
I thought Carter had a chance, but Anderson didn't quit on the play. Saccone and Carter now split left. Ebden in the back. Ebden in the shotgun. DeShield Sanabria is the set. Ebden on the draw to DeShield Sanabria. Bouncing his outside. Cuts it back inside. And he's going to be short of the first down as the Cranston East team swallows him up pretty quickly. Zach Hubbard was in on the tackle that time. Interesting call on 3rd and long. And Ledyard is probably just going to try to get this thing out of their own end. I think Coach Jimmy Bunicor likes his defense right now and just doesn't want to make another mistake with his offense.
Yeah, great point. Playing it safe right now. Doesn't want to risk an interception. Doesn't want to risk a sack, fumble, anything along those type of lines on a pass play.
Saccone at his own 6-yard line. Snap is good. Kick is off, and a high wobbly kick comes down to Dummett at the 50-yard line. Dummett's got speed. Dummett's got a lane. Dummett's to the outside. Dummett's got some room. Cuts it back inside. Still on his feet. Dummett, one guy to beat, and a saving tackle by Justin Carter at the 30-yard line. But C.J. Dummett, we heard about him last night too. The Cranston East playmaker, C.J. Dummett, on the punt return, took a Saccone punt and did all kinds of Sports Center highlights showing speed and strength, and if it wasn't for a shoestring tackle by Justin Carter, he would have gone. But Cranston East, great field position again, sets it up at the Ledyard 26-yard line.
Let's see here if Cranston East can cast in on this great field position. They've been knocking on the door, Casey, the first 2 times they had the ball. Ledyard just played tough defense. We'll see what happens here.
First and 10 at the 26. 4 wide for Cranston East, and we have a timeout on the field. Timeout Ledyard with 3:50 remaining here in the first period. No score between the Ledyard High School Colonels and the Cranston East Thunderbolts. Officials are figuring out what's going on. They're going to wind this clock back in. Cranston East is going 4 wide. 2 receivers to the left, 2 receivers to the right. John Anderson, the quarterback, in the shotgun. Snap. Pressure by Ledyard, and he's sacked on the blitz. That's number 30 of the Colonels, Jonathan Carver. He is the weak side linebacker, the guy they call the Will, and his will that time was to bring down Anderson for a big loss.
Ledyard is leaving their safeties and their corners out on an island and bringing everything they got up the middle, off the edge, every linebacker, every play, Casey, trying to find a hole in that Cranston offensive line. You know, and so far it's paid big dividends, stuffing the run a few times, and a big sack there on first down.
2nd and 21, wrong direction for Cranston East. Anderson, again, in the pistol formation. He's going to take it himself this time right up the middle. Bottled up pretty quickly. Colin Krauth came in from his defensive end position. He's one of those linebackers in the 3-4. No gain, really, maybe a yard and a half. It's going to bring up 3rd and 20. And I think it's pretty simple, Keith. I think Jim Bunicor just doesn't think Anderson can throw the ball. I don't think he thinks there is a threat. He trusts his senior defensive backs. He's going to bring pressure and let them play out there.
Yeah, I mean, they're just selling out on every single play. Linebackers are selling out. Corners are on their own. The safeties are back. Safeties are even up on all these plays. And I agree. They're daring him to throw the ball.
Hernandez left. Dummett right. Anderson going deep down the sideline. Incomplete. Well overthrown for C.J. Dummett. Dummett that time had double coverage as he had Max Ebden covering him man-to-man, but Ebden had help over the top from Justin Carter. That play really never had a chance. It's going to bring up 4th and 20, and I think we're going to see the first Cranston East punt of the evening.
Cranston East is in no man's land right now. They have the ball at the 34-yard line. It's, they're too far out to go gamble and go for it. They are punting.
And look who's the punter. Jay Bast, the linebacker. He is a 6'2", 245-pound punter.
Every bit of that, Casey.
Snap is high. Bast can't handle it. He's going to have to run with it, and he tries to punt it. Blocked by Ledyard. Ball on the ground, and the Ledyard Colonels are going to have the ball at midfield. A bad snap.
The patience of Coach Jim Bunicor pays off. Not going, passing the ball on 3rd down, playing the field position, trusting his defense, and a big, huge play by the Ledyard special teams right there.
Great job by Bass to not have the ball sail over his head. He got one hand up on it, knocked it down. I thought he was going to run with it. He tried to punt it, blocked by Ledyard, and now the Colonels will set up shop on their own 49-yard line, 1st and 10.
And, Ledyard has just flipped field position in this game. They've been operating from their own 15, their own 20, Casey. Now they got a little bit of operating room. Let's see here what Jimmy Bunicor does with the Ledyard offense.
He sends Carter and Saccone out to the left. DeShield Sanabria's in the backfield with him. Winston to the right. Straight snap. Ebden with time. Deep down the sideline. He's got Carter. And incomplete. Oh, a great juggling effort by Justin Carter, who had double coverage beat down the left sideline, but he couldn't hang on. Falls incomplete. And I really, really like Justin Carter's speed. He blew by 2 Cranston East defenders that time. Just couldn't hold on.
A nice ball there by Ebden. Just couldn't make the catch, was Carter. But Ledyard's going to keep trying the outside. Keep trying the corners and the safeties for Cranston East.
One name we have not called yet on offense is Luke Saccone, the leading receiver for Ledyard last year. They're going to try to get him the ball. He's split left right now with Carter and his brother, Max Ebden. Ty Ebden rolls, stiff arms. He's going to keep it. Wants a block from his brother. He gets it. And Ebden will be just down. I think he got a first down. Great play that time. Ty Ebden decided to keep it and pointed to his brother, Max Ebden, and said, go block that guy. Max Ebden did exactly that, laid a nice block, and I think he got his big brother a first down.
Big brother to little brother, senior leadership on that play. And that's the thing with Ebden is he is not afraid to put a saddle on and run the ball. He's a big, strong kid, Casey, and he's a playmaker. He's a senior leader.
Yeah, 6 feet, 190 pounds. He's been playing the position for a bunch of years. He's trying to take it on his shoulders. Coach Bunicor said he's going to be about 90% involved in this thing. Every play they run, he's going to be involved with it. So, Ebden from the shotgun, hands off this time to his, I think that's his brother. I think he handed it off to his brother. Coming out of the pile is his brother, number 10, Max Ebden, who is a sophomore, bigger than Big Brother though, at 6'1", 195. He gets Ledyard its best first down gain of the day of 5.5, bringing up a 2nd and 5.
Tough run off the left side tackle, and we're starting to see now the Cranston defense back on their heels a little bit. We haven't seen this all game long. It's been Ledyard operating out of their own goal line, but now they got some room. Now they got some real estate behind them, and let's see what Ledyard can do with the ball here, from trying to punch it in for 6 early going.
3 wide for Ledyard. Ebden gives it to DeShield Sanabria around the right end, looking for some space as DeShield Sanabria. Late flag comes in. Looks like we're going to get either a hold or a face mask. Thinking a hold against the Colonels. We'll see. Sanabria that time was brought down after a minimal gain. About a minute left here in the first period at Ledyard High School. The Cranston East Thunderbolts are saying it's against Ledyard. And if it is a hold, it's going to be unfortunate. On 2nd and short, it's going to back them up. It is against Ledyard. And they're going to back Ledyard up on a holding penalty. Out on the edge as DeShield Sanabria tried to get to the corner. Ledyard hold, and it's going to bring up a replay of 2nd down all the way back to where they started from. It's going to be 2nd and 11.
Yeah, Coach Jimmy Bunicor really likes this young group of talent he's got on offense. He says it'll take a couple games for those guys to get in the swing of things, Casey, but he likes what he has out there in the field. Obviously, JoJo Shoemaker is gone. The Thomas brothers are gone, but he likes these kids he's got out there in the field.
Split right, 1 wide receiver to the left, in motion, Carver. Ebden's going to keep it himself. Ebden breaks a tackle. Ebden back up the middle, and a nice gain by senior quarterback Ty Ebden all the way down to the first down marker, and it's going to give it to him. First down, Ledyard. That is a 12-yard run by Ebden. Ledyard in business at the Cranston East 28-yard line, 1st and 10.
Straight run there by Ebden. No fake handoffs. Design play, quarterback run in between the center and the tackle. Take it upfield.
Ebden showing a lot of versatility. He's thrown the ball downfield. He's kept the ball up the middle. He's shown some speed to the corner. A lot of versatility for the senior. And like you said, senior leadership. Very important. Ebden from the shotgun. Low snap. He fields. Gives it to DeShield Sanabria. Cuts back up the middle, and Manny DeShield Sanabria has about 3 on first down. Brings up 2nd and 7. Ledyard now getting closer. That's the farthest they've driven the ball so far. They are down to the 25-yard line of Cranston East. That's the end of the first period. Ledyard 0, Cranston East 0, but Ledyard in their best scoring position of the game thus far, down on the Cranston East 24-yard line. You are listening to Game Day, live on theday.com. Casey O'Neill, along with the sports doctor, Keith O'Brien. We've got the stat guru to my left, and a junior staffer here in the booth. The game, of course, is brought to you by the M.J. Sullivan Automotive Corner, and this second quarter will be brought to you by Connecticut Family Magazine. That's the M.J. Sullivan Automotive Corner, and the second quarter brought to you by Connecticut Family Magazine. This is the first of many this year as Game Day brings you its continuing coverage of high school sports. We have a full slate of football. We have a full slate of basketball. We're going to hear some audio. You're going to see some video. You're going to see some packages. And Keith, by the end of all of this, if you and I aren't sick of each other, well, then we're not trying hard enough.
It's only once a week, Casey. It's a beautiful thing. Early going in this game, it's a game of patience. Patience by Coach Bunicor on defense. Game of patience as far as flipping field position. Now he's got his offense clicking a little bit. So Ledyard, last year, what you saw out of this team was high octane, go, go, go all the time. Now they have to be patient, Casey.
Yeah, he said to us we were going to see a lot more tight end. They didn't even play with a tight end last year. They're going to see a lot more wingback. We were going to see even some jumbo with 2 tight ends. And he said that they're going to have to manage this game start to finish and slow things down. They're not trying to run the 50 plays like they did Oregon Duck style last year. But it's still a fairly up-tempo offense with, a lot of players in skill positions split out. I think right now what you're seeing is that Jim Bunicor has so much confidence in his defense that he is comfortable playing it a little bit conservative offensively because he doesn't think his defense. I think he thinks his defense is in a position of authority right now.
I would totally agree with that.
Ty Ebden in the shotgun. He's got Max Ebden and Carver split to the left. Good snap. Ebden looking down into the corner. He's got a man. Up goes and incomplete. He was looking for Luke Saccone that time. Defended on the play by Cranston East's defensive back, number 9, Wesley Isom, and just out of bounds.
Just a tad late on that deep ball by Ebden going up the left-hand side. A little bit sooner and a little less air, and I think that's 6 points, Casey.
Well, I just got done saying I hadn't called Luke Saccone's name. They tried to go for him in the corner that time, and I thought he was open.
And the ball was just a tad late.
DeShield Sanabria goes wide left out of his running back position. We got an empty backfield this time. Ebden, the quarterback, sends Carter in motion. Ebden's going to keep it himself. Draw up the middle. Quarterback draw. Ebden's got to step. Ebden's going to score the first points of the season for the Ledyard High School Colonels. 6-0. Ty Ebden, the senior quarterback, on a little bit of a delay from an empty backfield, broke a tackle, got into the secondary, and the speed was on. 6-0 Colonels.
Coach Bunicor said last night you're going to see Ebden throw it, run it, and maybe even punt it this game.
Well, he's done the first 2, and so far that's worked out well as the Ledyard High School Colonels break on top 6-0, and they send in Luke Saccone for the extra point. The left-footed kicker, Luke Saccone. They've got a left-handed quarterback, Ty Ebden, who's going to hold it. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is good. And as we just start the second quarter, first points of the game day season, 7-0 Colonels.
So listen, I know Ledyard has missed on 2 deep balls here early, but what that does is that loosens up the middle of the defense and the linebackers for Cranston East. Puts them back on their heels a little bit. So now you can run the ball. Now there's room. They can't creep up and throw 9 guys in the box because Ebden will hook up eventually with one of those deep balls to his brother or Saccone.
Yeah, and what's happening is they're not getting a lot of success with Manny DeShield Sanabria right now. He has not had a lot of success finding room to run. So instead, they go empty backfield and they allow Ebden. What happens is the receivers push deep. They have to respect the deep ball because he's throwing it deep. The receivers are good. He waits a count of 1-1,000, 2-1,000 to let those receivers take the secondary deep. And then there's nothing but a linebacker. That's what happened there. He got a block, and off he went.
Yeah, there has not been a lot of room on the edge for Manny to run the ball. The room is, like you just said, up the middle. And that's, Ty Ebden. It's all him right here now in his first quarter, into the second quarter of this game.
That is
3 straight double-digit runs by Ty Ebden. So that shows you how much is going to be put on his shoulders here early in the season.
And he's got the Colonels on top 7-0 in front of a very enthusiastic crowd here at Ledyard High School on Bill Mignault Field. Saccone will kick off from his own 40-yard line.
I see you're not sweating as much this week.
Nope, last week was a beautiful, beautiful summer day. Tonight, got a little bit of Christmas in the air. It's a little fall in the air, just the way I like it.
Ledyard Fair up the road, get yourself an apple cider afterwards.
And we may just stop and do that. Maybe ride the Ferris wheel. Saccone with a driving kick. Deep down it goes. Malik Gavick takes the ball at his own 10, cuts it up the middle. Gavick brought down as he crosses the 30-yard line to the 32, where Cranston East will set up shop 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line.
Hey, it doesn't matter who is on the field for Ledyard football. When you watch this team over the last few years, especially on the defensive side of the ball, the basics, tackling, blocking, running to the ball, pursuit. Those are all signature of Coach Jimmy Bunicor. So it doesn't matter who he has for personnel out there. Team is very, very well coached, Casey.
Yeah, he says that he thinks this defense is an improving defense. He loves their speed. He loves their toughness. He thought that Daggett had a chance to control the line of scrimmage, point of attack. He really likes the speed of his linebackers, the toughness of his linebackers. He's got some senior veterans in the secondary, and so far, so good. Anderson hands the ball off to Gavick, and Gavick is brought down deep into the backfield. Off the corner, Derek Johnson, the free safety, the middle linebacker, Derek Johnson, and that is a 5-yard loss for Cranston East.
10 guys in the box that time for the Ledyard Colonels, challenging Anderson to throw the ball. Going to be tough sledding down there for Cranston if they don't loosen up this Ledyard defense.
What you might see from Cranston East soon, if they have it in their repertoire, with this many guys in the box, you might see a screen pass to someone like Dummett. Allow the pressure to come. We saw Dummett's a really good playmaker, so is Gavitt. But you're going to have to let the pressure come and burn them for putting that kind of pressure on. Because right now, the running game can't get anywhere because there's nothing but Colonels in the backfield. Anderson from the pistol formation. Ledyard with 10 in the box again. Anderson rolls right, throws incomplete. And that was knocked down by Matthew Nova. Big number 52, Matthew Nova. That one never had a chance. And nothing against John Anderson, but he was a running back for 3 years. He converted to quarterback with 3 games left last year. And he plays like a running back. You can see his tendencies are he wants to run the ball. It's almost like he has to remind himself to put touch and lead receivers. He's playing like a running back right now.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing right here early going is the Ledyard defense taking Cranston East out of their element a little bit too. I mean, obviously they like to run the ball, but there's just nowhere to go out there right now. Up the middle, out the sides. I mean, they're shooting the gaps with linebackers on a defensive blitzing, stuff blitzes. Everything going right now for the Ledyard defense, Casey.
Gavitt and Hernandez split left. Dummett split right. Anderson takes it himself up the middle, and not a lot there. Shooting the gap once again from his middle linebacker position was Derek Johnson. And right now, the Ledyard linebackers are all run blitzing. They're all shooting those gaps, and Cranston East has no answer for it right now. That's another loss. It's going to bring up 4th and 14, and we are going to get our first Cranston East punt of the game on 4th and 14, standing at his own 10-yard line. Ledyard, not believing him, does not even have a deep man yet. Snap is good, and the punt is high, end-over-end kick, and it will bounce at the 45 and take a Cranston East roll, and Ledyard will start at their own 38-yard line, 1st and 10. Nice punt that time by Jareel Rodriguez, the punter of Cranston East. That was a high end-over-end punt, and it took a very nice Cranston East bounce. Ledyard, 1st and 10 from their own 38. Let's see if they can capitalize on the success of that last offensive drive.
So, Casey, this Cranston East offense, too, very, very one-dimensional here in the first half. Not a lot of element of surprise. Not taking shots downfield. Like you said, no draws even to slow down the Ledyard defense. Ledyard defense is bringing the heat on every single play.
Yeah, they're going to have to try to come up with something different. And if Ledyard can score here, this is not a team, Cranston East, that looks comfortable throwing the football. So,
no.
Ebden with 2 guys in the backfield. Cranston East with a guy late coming to the ball game here, and the handoff goes to Max Ebden, and he gets about 5 yards. There was a linebacker, number 35, Andre Garcia, getting late onto the field. Cranston East didn't even have a full 11, and Ty Ebden, the quarterback of Ledyard, smartly snapped the football, but a short gain, 3 yards, brings up 2nd and 7. Ball at the Ledyard 41-yard line. DeShield Sanabria is in the backfield. Ebden getting the call from Coach Jim Bunicor. They're going to send trip receivers to the right. Carter and number 11, Winston, along with Max Ebden. Ty Ebden. Quick little screen out. It goes to Carver, and he's going to pick it up. It looks like it was a lateral. So Justin Carter took what ended up being a lateral. It was supposed to be a little quick screen, and because it was a lateral, he had to try to pick it up and run with it. And that play just absolutely torpedoes this drive. Loss of 13. It's going to bring up 3rd and 20, putting the ball all the way back to the Ledyard 28-yard line.
Little mistiming on that play between Ebden and the wide receiver. It was a free ball. That's what happens on a lateral, and they jumped all over it. look to Ledyard to be very, very conservative here on third down, Casey, and go back to relying on the defense.
Yeah, I expect something conservative as well. Coach Buonocore very much likes his defense here. You're right. He's not going to do anything to get them in trouble in his own end. And we're going to get a timeout, it looks like, on the field. Timeout, Ledyard. And that's a good time to tell you that the second quarter is sponsored by Connecticut Family Magazine and GameDay, brought to you by the MJ Sullivan Automotive Corner, along with Connecticut Family Magazine. We are midway through the second period here at Ledyard High School, Big McNaught Field. The Ledyard Colonels 7, Cranston East Thunderbolts 0. Casey O'Neill along with the sports doctor. Keith O'Brien bringing you theday.com's continuing coverage of high school sports in Connecticut. Tonight is the opening broadcast of Game Day here. We'll be bringing you a full slate of Friday night football, plus Saturday we'll be bringing you NFA and Xavier on one Saturday, and of course on Thanksgiving Day as well. But otherwise, Friday nights, turn your dial to theday.com, or turn your computer or your smartphone or your tablet or your iPad to theday.com. Get the app on your phone and listen to the dulcet tones of Keith O'Brien, the finger swiping tactics of the stat guru, and have yourself some good times with the Game Day crew on Friday Night Football here on theday.com. Ledyard, 3rd and 20 from its own 29-yard line. 8:30 remaining here in the second period. 7-0 Ledyard. Ty Ebden gets the snap, rolls to his left, looking to throw. Pursuit, has a man, and it is intercepted. Intercepted at the 45-yard line. Malik Gavik of Cranston East stepped in front. That's the first interception thrown by Ebden, and it amounts to a short punt. Gets the ball to the 45-yard line. Great field position and a little momentum for Cranston East.
Yeah, and again, Ebden just a little late, Casey, on his throw there. The receiver was waiting on the ball. Ebden just a touch behind here early going in this game.
Ebden 0 for 5 on the day, but that touchdown run, which gave the Colonels their 7-0 lead, he's shown a lot of toughness. But you're right, Keith, his touch just hasn't been there so far. See if Cranston East can capitalize. John Anderson, the senior quarterback, running the pistol. 4 receivers on the field. Anderson's going to throw. Pressure. Stepped up. Nothing there. Bounces to the outside and dragged to the ground by Colin Krauth. Nothing there. Poor John Anderson had no chance. There was nothing there. Couldn't find anybody. Pressure in his face, and great tenacious pursuit by the Ledyard defense.
The Cranston coaches are scratching their heads in the sidelines, searching for plays, searching for personnel, searching to get something out of this Cranston passing game.
They have really struggled as Ledyard has been sending pressure. 8 Ledyard Colonels flying to the football. There's defensive backs, Saccone, DeShield, Sanabria, and Carter left alone out there to defend the Cranston receivers one-on-one, but so far it hasn't been a problem because Anderson hasn't even been able to get a pass off.
Looks very shaky, Casey, in passing situations. I will admit that.
Dummett is the lone receiver to the right, but we're going to get a delay of game penalty against Cranston East. And I'll tell you, Cranston East has done itself no favors offensively. We have seen a number of illegal procedure penalties, now a delay of game penalty, and they have just keep moving themselves backwards. 2nd and 20. Now they're back on their side of the field at the Cranston East 46-yard line. Anderson hands to Gavik. Gavik is hit almost immediately by the center of the line, led by Daggett and Matthew Nova and DeShield Sanabria. And the Colonels have backed the Thunderbolts up again. 3rd and 22. Ball at the Cranston East 46-yard line. And man, this Colonels defense has been very good.
The front 5 are just playing. I mean, the whole defense is playing tremendous, But there's no element of surprise. It is a one-dimensional Cranston East defense, East offense right now. Casey, would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, Anderson hasn't shown that he's comfortable throwing the football. He hasn't had time to throw the football. He hasn't had really any pass plays designed to show that he can throw the football. So the offense has been very, very
stagnant
and one-dimensional at this point. That other than those 2 runs by Anderson and Gavitt early in the first quarter, the Cranston offense has done nothing.
As we say that, I saw junior quarterback Randy Duran, number 14, warming up on the sideline, playing pitch and catch. Could be a sign of what could be to come in the second half for Cranston East.
Well, I think Anderson, like we talked about, 3-year starter at running back, and he's definitely got the skill and talent.
Well, he's an athlete, there's no doubt about that.
Right.
He plays both sides of the ball. He plays defense. He runs like a deer. Just his skill set at quarterback right now, very, very raw, very green.
And if Randy Duran, number 14, the junior quarterback of Cranston East, can be a pocket passer and allow Anderson to go take one of the skill positions, it would give Cranston East some diversity in their offense, give them a method of moving the ball, because right now there's not a lot on this drawing board. Malik Gavick is in the backfield. Anderson from the shotgun. His number one target, C.J. Dummett, is split out to the left one-on-one with Luke Saccone. Anderson looking for Dummett deep down the sideline. He's one-on-one with Saccone. Saccone goes up and knocks it down, incomplete. And he says, no, thank you, not here. Luke Saccone, one-on-one with C.J. Dummett, and he didn't give him an inch.
On an island, making a play with Saccone. Big stop for Ledyard's defense. They will get the ball back in pretty good field position here as they try and tally another score before the half. And speaking of scores, this is not the only game on the slate tonight. Around the ECC, Stonington 7-6 leading Montville. That game is at Montville. We have Killingly 15-7 at the half over Griswold as well. Scores will be coming in all night long throughout the league. Plainfield over Fitch 15-13 midway through the second quarter. Casey O'Neill.
Jarrell Rodriguez takes a low snap. He's not going to get the punt off. He's going to have to run with it, and he is dragged to the ground. James Smith, number 12, a freshman special teamer. Hey, James Smith, welcome to the Ledyard Colonels program, my friend.
That is the second Cranston miscue in the punting game. They had one blocked earlier. They had trouble with the snap here. Ledyard defense, Ledyard special teams helping pave the way for this Ledyard offense here at Big Bill Mignault Field.
Yeah, Jarrell Rodriguez never had a chance on that low snap.
No shot.
And so he had to take off running. And, hey, how about James Smith? He's a freshman out there playing special teams. You never know when you're going to get a chance to make a play. So there you are, first game your freshman year on the field with the varsity at Ledyard High School. A lot of tradition on that field, and now you are a part of it. First down, Ledyard trips left. Winston split right. Ebden is going to keep it himself. Cuts it inside. Bounces off a tackle. And Ty Ebden's going to gain about 7 yards, taking it down to the 26-yard line of Cranston East. Nice gain on first down by Ty Ebden.
These are straight quarterback runs. They're almost like a time delay draw. He shows the ball. He's never going to give that ball to the halfback. He's keeping it all the way, and he's patient enough to wait for his hole to develop in front of him.
DeShield Sanabria goes out wide left. Carter and Saccone split to the right. Ebden's going to go in the empty backfield. This was the play, the formation they used on the touchdown run earlier in the game. In motion goes Carter. Ebden's going to keep it himself. Same play that scored a touchdown, breaks a tackle, and is going to get a first down. Not a touchdown this time, but Ty Ebden's going to move the chains, get the ball down to the 20-yard line.
Ty Ebden's been a workhorse here at quarterback for Ledyard. A workhorse as quarterback and as running back. Dual threat.
I say look for a play here where Ebden does exactly that, but steps back and looks for Saccone in the corner of the end zone, or Carter, his two speed receivers. First down, Ledyard Colonels, ball at the 22-yard line of Cranston East. 7-0. Ledyard on top here late in the first half. We are heading towards halftime at Bill Mignault Stadium on the campus of Ledyard High School. Ebden, shotgun. DeShield Sanabria in the backfield. Ebden going to keep it himself again, but this time, nothing there. Nothing there at all. Cranston East was ready for it that time, and coming out of the pile that time from Cranston East, right in the center of it all, was number 74, Big George Tavares. And that time, Ledyard went to the well one too many times, lost 2, 2nd and 10.
7 carries for 58 yards on the day so far for Ebden, and that Cranston defense did a good job of pinching down in the center, leaving no room for Ebden to go up the middle.
Well, they went from that same formation, and that time Cranston East decided to take the middle away, and Ebden had nothing there. Carver and Max Ebden split left. Ty Ebden, the quarterback, takes the snap, looking in the corner, throws it deep, looking for Saccone. Ball's up for grabs, tipped, and incomplete. Luke Saccone had a chance to make a circus catch in the left corner of the end zone, and there's the play I was talking about, taking a shot with one of his speed receivers, and that was a nice pass by Ebden, but Saccone couldn't bring it down. Credit the secondary of Cranston East, good coverage that time. And Saccone went up. He's had a chance to make a couple of acrobatic catches.
Cranston's done they've had some nice plays on the outside by their corners and their safeties. They're big, they're tall, they're long, and they go get it on the outside.
Yeah, that was Dave Todd out there, and he's a good corner cover. He's had the assignment on Saccone, which is not an easy one. Henry Winston, Winston to the right, Herman Winston. Ebden keeps it, throws it to the left to his brother, Max Ebden, and it's incomplete. Max tried to run before he caught it. Incomplete pass. Didn't want to help his brother out with his first completion of the ball game there. And that's going to bring up 4th down for Ledyard, 4th and 12. Now they have a good kicker in senior Luke Saccone. Let's see if they want to try a long field goal or if they're going to go for it here on 4th and 12.
Frustration on the face of Coach Jim Bunicor there, because I think he was just looking to pick up 6 or 7 yards and maybe make it an easier 2-down territory. Now you got 4th and 12 instead of 4th or 5 or 6, Casey.
Ball at the Cranston East 25-yard line, so it would have been a 42-yard field goal. Instead, they're going to go for it. Saccone is split left, trips right for Ledyard. DeShield Sanabria, lone man in the backfield. Ebden, pump and go, but he has got immediate pressure, and he's brought to the ground. Corner blitz by Andre Garcia, and Ebden was looking for the hitch and go with his brother Max, but the hitch happened, and the go never could because of the pressure by Garcia. Ebden is sacked, turnover on downs. Cranston East ball at the 35-yard line of Ledyard.
And the drop pass on 3rd down definitely changed the mindset of the Ledyard coaching staff and Jimmy Bunicor's offensive play call in there. Again, 4th and 5, 4th and 6, easier to manage than 4th and 12, Casey.
Ledyard defense has played very well. They have not shown any real bend at all so far. Let's see what Cranston East wants to do here on what might be one of their last possessions of the first half. 4:30 remaining here in the second period. Anderson, quick drop, throws it out to the side, and complete and quickly brought down on the play is Dummett by Max Ebden. Nice pass and catch that time. Anderson got it out quickly, hit his man C.J. Dummett, tackled very quickly. Great drive on the ball by Max Ebden, but a nice gain of 5 on first down.
Looked pretty comfortable on that throw. Wasn't asked to do too much. 2-step drop, pitch and catch, go. Let the receiver make a play on the outside. Good stop by Ledyard defense as well.
Ebden going to be alone on Dummett again. Anderson in the shotgun. He's got receivers all over the place. Anderson, this time over the middle, and it's complete. Nice throw that time to Joe Hernandez. Anderson suddenly looking comfortable throwing the ball.
They're going to give him some quick hitters back there. Not a lot of time to think. Just, catch and read your first option and let it fly.
Now, here's a way to keep the Ledyard defense honest because those corners can't press up. If the corners press up here, they give themselves a quick hitch and go in the other direction. You don't want to give up a touchdown before halftime.
Only 19 yards of total offense for the Cranston East team up until those last 2 plays.
Anderson is going to keep it himself this time. Flag on the play right at the point of attack. It's going to be an illegal procedure. A little motion action against Cranston East. He's going to back them up on first down. That's the 5th penalty on Cranston East. On offense, we've seen 4 of them. Illegal procedures and, of course, that 1 delay of game. It's going to back them up 5 yards. It's going to bring up 1st and 15, and it's going to keep them on their own side of the field. It'll be 1st and 15, Cranston East. Ball at their own 42-yard line.
In a team with an inability to move the ball, only 19 yards coming into this series, those penalties are killers. They're drive killers, Casey. And obviously, 1st and 10 versus 1st and 15, you do the math.
Yeah, they saw a little bit of momentum there. They had some positivity going on with Anderson throwing on 2-step, 3-step drops. He's hit 2 different receivers, Dummett and Hernandez, and then suddenly you go back the other way. Dummett goes wide right, Anderson wide left. Big J Bast is in the slot tight end position. Anderson hands it to Gavick, and Gavick cuts it up into the second level. He's got himself a gain of about 6. Check that. That's Andre Garcia. Back to the original line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up 2nd and 10. Cranston East with the ball at their own 48-yard line.
Ledyard defense, they want to keep everything in front of them here in the last 3.5 minutes or so of the first half. They don't want to give up the big play. They want to keep the pressure. They want to keep Cranston in front of them, Casey.
Anderson, flag on the play. Pass is caught, and it's going to go. And a goal. What a tackle. Shoestring tackle by Max Ebden on C.J. Dummett. But we have a flag on the play. Let's see what that's all about. That was a quick slant to C.J. Dummett. He broke the tackle, and if it wasn't for a shoestring of Max Ebden, Dummett would have gone. Ebden brought him down at the 25-yard line, but looks like it's going to come back here as it was an illegal formation against Cranston East. And Keith, how many different ways can you find to back yourselves up?
You cannot hurt yourself with penalties like that. That is what, the 6th penalty, and 5 of them have been illegal procedure or illegal formation penalties.
And that was a really great play. That time, Ebden really saved the tackle. Max Ebden with a literal shoestring. He got the toe of C.J. Dummett. And C.J. Dummett's an exciting player. We saw it on the punt return. He's got the ability to be a game changer here. But Cranston East back on their own side of the field again at the 44-yard line. Anderson in the pistol. He wants Dummett to move up. Snap. Anderson drops the snap. Ball's on the turf. He picks it up and brought down very quickly by Colin Krauth. No gain on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd and 14. Cranston East running out of time. They're going to try to get up to the ball with some, let's say, tempo here because they can't let too much clock go off. 3rd and 15 from the 42-yard line. 7-0 Ledyard here as we wind down the first half of play. Bill Mignot Field on the campus of Ledyard High School. 1:50 remaining here in the first half. 7-0. Ledyard. Going right to left on your imagination is Cranston East in the visiting white with green. Anderson, lots of time. He's going deep. No one there. He had Dummett down the right sideline. Miscommunication. The only guy that was open was the Ledyard cornerback, Max Ebden. And even he was overthrown.
10 yards into the route, Dummett broke the route off for a second, then had to play catch-up to the ball. So definitely a miscommunication between the wide receiver and the quarterback. Dummett was looking for that ball at about 15 yards, and the quarterback was throwing it about 30.
That's always my favorite when the receiver comes off of that play and turns to the quarterback and looks at him like, no.
What did you do? Yeah.
But the quarterback's never wrong, right? The quarterback always looks at him and goes, no, you were supposed to go over there. Last timeout called by Ledyard. 4th down here. Ledyard setting up its final possession of the first half. Cranston East is going to punt the ball from about the 30-yard line, their own 30-yard line. They've had some problems the last couple of times. We've seen 2 different punters now. We've seen Jay Bast out there to punt, and we've seen Jareel Rodriguez back there to punt, and they both had problems.
The punting game has been a big mystery so far for Cranston, and this is an area in the field, a position in the field where you do not want that to happen, Casey, especially with about a minute and 40 left to go in the first half, and you're inside your own territory. If you make a mistake here, you give Ledyard excellent field position. Center, snap, punt, away, simple. Correct?
Yes. Now, Jareel Rodriguez is the punter. He would be well served to take one step closer, handle this thing, and get rid of it. Ledyard's going to put some pressure on him, though, because they know that they have struggled in this part of the game. Rodriguez stands on his own 30-yard line. Good snap that time. Kick is off, and it is a high. Good kick by Rodriguez. Bounces down and takes a straight up and down hop where it is downed by Alex Martinez of the Thunderbolts right on the 30-yard line. Ledyard will take over 1st and 10 from their own 30.
All 3 punts, Ledyard didn't have a guy back deep to receive it.
I think in that situation, they figured if he gets the punt off, so be it. But they were going to make sure that he didn't have another. They had 2 of the last 3 punts. They've had missed snaps. So Ledyard gets the ball. 1:15 remaining here in the first half. And they are on their own 31-yard line, going left to right. Ledyard in its home yellow gold pants with the blue tops. Colonel Blue in the gold helmet with the L for Ledyard. Ty Ebden hands the ball off to DeShield Sanabria. He breaks tackle, bounces to the outside, got a little run room, tries to cut it back inside. Nice run on 1st down by Manny DeShield Sanabria. Gain 6 for Ledyard.
Manny's best run of the first half, so by far, Casey. He bounced to the outside, and he showed flashes of speed there. A very, very positive gain on 1st down, but by far his best run of the half.
If those names are familiar, of course, the DeShields name, a famous and popular name in football circles out of Montville, New London. And, of course, Sanabria. He's the nephew of the great Pasta, Coach Pasta Sanabria, the Sanabria family, one of the great New London families, of course. Another handoff to Sanabria. This time he breaks a tackle, cuts it to the outside, breaks one more tackle. To the outside goes Sanabria. He's at the 40 and dragged down at the 30-yard line. Manny DeShields. Sanabria. Best run of the day for Ledyard all the way down to the Cranston East 30-yard line.
Back-to-back cracks for Sanabria, and that time he did work, cut the ball up the middle, bounced to the left, found running room, and basically ran out of real estate, caught a good angle there by the Cranston East safety, cut him off at the pass. Ledyard is in business here with just 35 seconds left to go in the first half, Casey.
And Sanabria at 6 feet 185. He is not a small back. Ebden, quick hit. Out it goes to Carter, and Carter brought down almost immediately. Nice play out there by Dave Todd. It's going to bring up 2nd and 8. Ledyard rushing to the ball. Cranston East has to get themselves on defense, and Ebden is going to spike it. So we're going to have 3rd down and 7 yards. Ledyard at the Cranston East 30-yard line. Ledyard driving. 3rd down at the Cranston East 30.
Under 10 seconds left to go in the half. Possibly a time for 2, and we know one more play here for Ledyard before the half.
Ledyard's bringing all of its skill guys in. You're going to get number 11, Herman Winston, into the game. Max Ebden and Winston are split left. Carter and Saccone are split right. And Ty Ebden is your quarterback. DeShields Sanabria is your tailback. And we're going to have a motion penalty against Ledyard as every single offensive player but the quarterback and the center were moving on that play. The whole offense went. The center never snapped the football.
That's a foul. That is a foul. That is a penalty. Because that is miscommunication at its very best.
Well, senior center Sean Hunley, one of the best around, he said, wait a minute, I thought we were going on 2. Ledyard thought they were going on 1.
And once again, Ebden is looking at Hunley, and Hunley's saying, it's not your fault, it's my fault. Again, that miscommunication thing. Just going to cost Ledyard 5 yards here, Casey.
7 seconds remaining. This might be your final play. Draw. DeShields Sanabria to the outside. Cuts it back. Spins, and he's brought down just past the original line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up 4th and 2. That's going to end your first half. At the end of the first half here at Bill Mignault's Field at the campus of Ledyard High School. The Ledyard High School Colonels 7. The Cranston East out of Rhode Island Thunderbolts 0. You're listening to Game Day. Live on theday.com, Casey O'Neill, along with Keith O'Brien. And we are now entering the M.J. Sullivan halftime show. M.J. Sullivan Hyundai, where no money down means no money down. You know, you can lease a 2015 Hyundai Sonata Sport for no money down and only $279 a month for 36 months. They'll pay your first payment. They'll pay your upfront sales tax. Hey, they're even going to pay your registration and your dealer conveyance fees. You pay $0 down and only $279 a month for a 2015 Hyundai Sonata Sport. Now only at M.J. Sullivan Hyundai. You can go down to the corner of Broad and Coleman Streets in New London, or if you want to see their entire inventory, go to mjsullivanauto.com. Get yourself a Hyundai from M.J. Sullivan.
Quick scoreboard look around the ECC tonight. Plainfield 21-13 so far at the half over Fitch. You've got New London leading East Lyme 25 to nothing. Big score there by New London. Plainfield beating Fitch. We talked about that. And we have Stonington 7-6 over Montville. That's at halftime as well. And speaking of halftime, we're going to bring in a very, very special guest. He is all covered here in Boston College material and stuff like that. We're looking for a mic for the one and only Mike DeMauro of the New London Day. Casey and Mike is in the booth. Mike's going to the sidelines. Mike, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah, you're on.
Is this thing on?
Yeah, you're on. You're ready to go.
I never.
Listen, how was it watching the pace of the game down the sidelines? What do you see differently this year between Ledyard and you saw for them last year?
They haven't got a playmaker. Not one. I mean, last year they had 3 or 4. I mean, not to say they're bad. They're just not as explosive. And if he's got to run the quarterback as much as he did upright by Halloween.
You know, we talked about some of the deep shots that he took downfield. Obviously, he's 0 for 6 passing in the first, 1 for 6 passing in the first half. Does those deep shots help open up the middle of the defense so he can run?
Yeah, I would expect that you'll see. You probably, yes, the answer, but you'll see more of an intermediate passing game. I think of all the things he did, the thing that annoyed Jimmy the most was the pass out in the flat with 7 seconds left. With 17 seconds left. There's just no timeouts left. There was no, you got to make a better call than that or read than that.
It looks like Justin Carter has shown some good speed. He was, broke open as a deep threat a couple times. I mean, everyone respects Luke Saccone as a veteran receiver, but Carter looked like he gave them a little something with his speed.
Yeah, but the hands got to go with it, and I think that's an issue. But I think on the other side, the defense is playing well.
He told us last night that coaches don't like to give a lot away, but you could tell he was enthusiastic about the upside of this defense.
Oh yeah, they're playing well. I mean, I still think they will probably be susceptible to a team that can throw it well, but how many of them do you see?
Cranston East is very one-dimensional right now. They have, not a whole heck of a lot going on in the passing game.
Right, and that's probably why they won't win the game. I still think this is a good game for Ledyard to play.
Well,
they're playing a pretty good team.
Well, the game, I'm sorry, Casey, the game is very important for Ledyard as far as state playoff implications as well. This is considered a double L school in Connecticut, Cranston, and you're going to think that Cranston in Rhode Island is going to win 7 or 8 ball games. So you talk about the importance of it to Ledyard. If Ledyard can find a way to hang on, Mike and Casey, and win this game, very important for them in state playoff implications.
I talked about the tradition going back, when New London brought Bishop Hendricken in off of their Rhode Island. There's a pretty long tradition now of New London, now Ledyard, bringing in the best teams out of Rhode Island, Bishop Hendricken, LaSalle, because it's a huge bonus if they can win those games. And these are good. These are teams that are comparable to the LLL schools they're going to see.
Yeah, and I think the most important part of that is what Keith had said. This is not just some big school. This is a school that's going to win their share this year. I thought, and obviously this is not. We don't have a great league here, but and I think our teams don't always get to play good teams every week.
Right.
Which is why it's important to go out and find them.
Well, why is it the fact that NFA is not playing this weekend? Why is the fact that Ledyard has to go out of state to find this game? We originally St. Joe's was going to play here, but why is NFA not playing tonight? And why is it that Ledyard playing Cranston?
Because NFA is a big school that has a lot of good players back, and nobody wants to play them. Ledyard was in the finals last year with the quarterback returning. Nobody wants to play him. That's just
it's that simple.
Yeah. And what you end up with is this. It's a 52-6 game every week.
Right.
Then when you get into the playoffs and you play somebody good, there's like a shock value.
Right.
Now, this is a good, tough,
it's a good hard-hitting game. Mike, where do you see this league now? We're in week 1 right now. We're here at Ledyard. But we're going to be everywhere in the next 10 weeks. We're going to see every team. I've caught glimpses of some of these teams in training camps and in practices. How do you see, some of the teams in the ECC right now? Obviously, I see NFA as the class.
I would say they're the best team.
They're big, they're strong, they're athletic. Obviously they've got a quarterback who is just a freak show of an athlete. But, outside of NFA and maybe outside of Ledyard, who are some of the other teams that could surprise people a little bit this year?
Well,
not only in the state, but even in the league.
New London should be pretty good. Bacon should be pretty good.
Okay.
I think Stonington's got a chance to be good. Outside of that, Waterford probably.
Stonington's beating
Good-
Waterford
good-
7-6 right
good-
now in a hard-fought game. Yeah.
They'll be all right.
I think, I'm very interested, not just because I'm an alumni and a graduate, but I'm very interested in the New London team this year because there were talks, and I as a coach's son, I can appreciate the dilemma. There were talks over the previous years that Dwayne Miranda's son, Danny, maybe wasn't the best fit for that team because he didn't have a lot of speed. He was stationary through the ball. He had a great career there, and obviously was a great kid, and I think was exactly the right player for them. But this year, that offense is going to undergo a transition away from four wide, spreading it out and throwing the ball, and you're going to see them use a lot more athletes on the field. Even though they lost, some of those playmakers from last year, this New London's offense with a veteran front and some new playmakers, I'm curious to see how the offense develops.
Well, I can tell you this case. Melquan Gomez is the quarterback. And I would never use the word recruit, of course, but there was. It got a little testy there when he was in the 8th grade to see whether he was going to go to New London or Ledyard. So somebody must think he can play, and because of him, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I heard that name 3 years ago as well. His father, a contemporary of mine, was one of the 3 best Little League players I had ever played against. His father was
That's a long time ago.
exceptional, but he was Little League World Series good. He was that good a player as a 12-year-old. To hear his son's name now coming through, I've already had to deal with Leo Clinton and coming through, and the son of a good
Casey,
friend.
your son's in the booth. He's next.
He is next, but we still have a few years before that AJ gets on the field. But I do think Melquan Gomez is so. I mean, you can't be any more different between Danny Miranda and Melquan Gomez. I'm curious to see what the offense looks like. They're putting up points tonight.
Yeah, well, he's 6'5", so I mean that's a good place to start.
He's a basketball player too, right?
He is a basketball player. He's not as good as our stat guy over here, but he is a basketball player.
Oh, that's another hint about who the stat guru is. I'm telling you, we're not telling you. If you want to know who the stat guru is, and he's handsome, he is talented. He forgot our pizza, but that's beside the point. You can come and check him out at Ledyard High School. Mike, I want to shift focus for a second. I thought the column you wrote this morning was one of the best reads and one of the best things you've written in a long time because it's something that we've talked about. And I almost felt bad today. I wanted to go and advertise that we were doing game day, and I felt like I couldn't do it today because I didn't want today to be about anything but 14 years ago. And I watched all my friends put up their own personal remembrances of 14 years ago and never forget. And I'm sitting here going, I got to go do a high school football game tonight. And so in the pregame, we talked a little bit about it. And sports and 9/11, they will forever be linked. And it's okay to enjoy sports, but boy, did you really sum up how to put it in perspective.
Yeah, and the thing is that I totally hear what you're saying about this. I have to go do a game on this night, but that's kind of the point. We get to do this. We get to do this. Our way of life. We get to do this. Enjoy it. Don't be a just there's just so much, and I'm not trying to push stones here.
Right.
There's just like Patriot fans. Can we calm down? Can we just calm down? This is what I'm talking about.
Listen, why you have Pete? I
Just
didn't wear the
calm
shirt.
down. It's so hostile. Was the banner last night? Was it any smaller? No. Right? So we're good.
Quarterback's good.
Enjoy the fact that you're on this unbelievable run.
Yes.
That I hope comes to an end.
Not this year,
Sometime
but
soon.
Well, you're right. Enjoy the fact that we're here able to do this.
I was talking, Mike.
That's
Talking
what I mean.
about the 9/11 and stuff like that. And I served time in the military. I spent 6 years in the
I didn't
Army.
know
Yes.
that.
I didn't either.
18 years old. I was a young kid. I did. You know what? I went to Fort Leonard, Missouri for boot camp. I am 2,000 miles away from home, and one of the big things too that is connected me with my father has been sports and military service. Because he served in My dad goes to the Sun games and the UConn basketball games and Sly Williams in '78. We told the stories, but it is a beautiful thing, and sports is our little way of escaping. You just enjoy it. But I do remember those first couple games in Yankee Stadium, with the Mets and the Piazza home run and really uplifting things, and that's what sports is all about. Let's just enjoy it.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I do hope my wife's not listening to this, because she would probably call me a hypocrite right now, because I sit there and scream and yell like everybody else, but I think if I at least try to have it, calm it down a little bit.
I will say this. Two things happened post 9/11 to put some levity from a sports perspective that have not happened since. For a brief moment, I rooted for the Yankees. It hadn't happened before.
Boy,
it hasn't happened since.
In the World Series that year?
I was a Yankee fan for the first game, and as soon as Mariano threw it in the center field, I suddenly became a Diamondbacks fan all over again. But the other thing was, it's no secret that I'm a crazy left-wing liberal, but I could tell, and when I heard the stories about how our president, George W. Bush, was in the tunnels before the game, working on his first pitch with Jeter, because it was so important to him to not go out there and throw one of those 50.
Don't lay an egg in it.
You can't throw one of those 50-cent throws it into another. No. And he had, but people don't realize, he had the flak jacket on. He had the bulletproof vest on. They wouldn't let him go out without it. He's arguing with Secret Service. I can't throw a fastball with this on. And he went out and he threw an absolute perfect strike. And it's the one time where I think there was, in that moment, there was no politics. And I think that was great.
And wasn't that great?
Yes.
Hi, Shelley. Too bad we can't get back there. Shelley's here, by the way.
Shelley's on the camera upstairs, no doubt about it. Mike, what do you, obviously, with the day and stuff like that coming up, the Sun are ending their season this weekend.
Mercifully.
We're off to a 7-1 start. Injuries and whatnot kind of hurt that team down the stretch. What else is going on here with the day? Just high school sports galore. You've got everybody's all over the place. This is a very busy time of year for everybody.
Incredibly busy. UConn football looks like they're going to give us a season. Coast Guard football started strong last week, so it's more fun when the teams win.
Mike, we talked about UConn football a little bit off the air, you and I, and this is one of those games tomorrow where they got to win this game. You cannot go out to Missouri 1-1. Listen, you're going to lose to Missouri. Win tomorrow, and tomorrow's going to be a fabulous day because the cadets are going to be there.
They should be there.
Hey, listen, it should
they
be
better
a fun
be there.
You're going to be there.
I will be there tomorrow. Yes,
I'll be in the stands.
I wish I was right next to you.
Thanks for a few minutes.
You got it.
Mike tomorrow. He is a very important, popular figure in Southeastern Connecticut sports. He's important to GameDay, and more so, he cares more about the high school kids. Casey, he is so passionate about this, and he has made a claim to me last year that he will never, ever watch another high school football game from the stands in his life, and that's a true story. He will be on the sidelines from here to eternity.
Absolutely. The football teams have headed back onto the field for the warm-up before the second half. We are at the M.J. Sullivan Automotive Corner halftime show. The M.J. Sullivan halftime show at your home. Ledyard Colonels on top of the Cranston East Thunderbolts, 7-0 here at Bill Mignault Field on the campus of Ledyard High School. Casey O'Neill along with Keith O'Brien. I got the stats guru to my left and the junior member of the GameDay staff over in the chair to my right. Keith, impressions of the first half.
Well, Ledyard's going to continue to manage the game the way they do. They're going to take their shots downfield. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play solid defense up front. That's what I took from this Ledyard team in the first half. A lot is on Ty Ebden. We know that going in. As far as Cranston right now, they're going to have to find some sort of offensive rhythm, whether it's running the ball, whether it's passing the ball, but they have to find a way, Casey, to slow down this very fast and overly aggressive Ledyard defense.
Yeah, now don't forget, Ledyard had the ball first, but they muffed the opening kickoff, and Cranston East recovered. So Cranston East is going to get the football to start the second half. And Keith, the thing that I'm most curious about is what adjustment did Cranston East make at halftime? Now, here's what I mean. We saw them warming up a junior quarterback with the idea that perhaps they would start trying to throw the ball to offset the Ledyard pressure that they were putting on. But then at the end of the first half, John Anderson, their quarterback, started actually having a little bit of success throwing the football when they shortened his drops. So are they going to come out saying Anderson is we're going to stick with Anderson at quarterback, we're going to shorten his drops, run some draws, and stay with the offense, or are we going to see them on the fly move to a junior quarterback with the idea that maybe they need to throw the ball?
I think as stagnant as this Cranston East offense has been, Casey, they're only a play away from being back in this game. They're only down one score. So they're not really in catch-up mode just yet. Obviously, they're not desperate. They're not changing too many things offensively. They're going to stick to what they brought to the dance. And I think that's probably important right now. They go down 14-0, Casey. They go down 10-0. Maybe they have to start to rethink things a little bit. But if they could pop a big play here or there, and we almost saw one on the outside, maybe they're back in this thing a little bit. So, but like you said, they did make a few adjustments, so we shall see. Listen, how about we block some people up front? We get a hat on a hat, and we start moving some of the Ledyard defenders around. Easier said than done, because Ledyard's pretty solid right now in D.
Yeah, and I don't think Ledyard right now, offensively, I don't think they're in a position to drive the length of the field. I think the Ledyard Colonels are going to need to rely on their defense to set up short fields for their offense. Ledyard drives of 50 yards or less. Get the ball on the right side of things and go that way, because they're not as explosive as they once were, and Ebden has not found a rhythm yet throwing the football. They look like they've got guys. I mean, it looks like it's there, but they just haven't been able to tie it all together.
Yeah, now if I'm the Cranston East coaching staff, I go into halftime and I say, listen, fellas, let's clean it up. Let's clean it up. Let's stop the penalties. Let's take care of ourselves in the punting game. They had 2 block punts in the first half. Let's clean things up a little bit. Let's play clean football. Let's play Cranston East style of football, Casey, and maybe there's a play or two on the field that we can make.
If you look at the stats here at halftime, Keith, it really indicates just how well Ledyard played on defense. Anderson, the quarterback of Cranston East, was 2 of 8 for 11 yards. I mean, that was it. Just 2 quick hitters totaling 11 yards. And on the ground, Garcia gained 6. Gavick gained 12 yards on 6 carries. And that's with the big run that he had of over 20 yards. So he had a 27-yard run and finished the other 5 carries for minus 15 yards. I mean, that's remarkable. Anderson minus 6 yards rushing. On the other side of things, DeShields Sanabria does have 56 yards on the ground, and Ebden has 51. But that 35-yard carry really was the majority of it for DeShields Sanabria. And Ebden, 2 of 8 for 3 yards. So neither team, we talk about how Anderson's not able to throw the ball. Well, if I was just looking at stats, Ebden hasn't been able to throw the ball yet either. So both of these teams have really put up very limited offense. So I think you could argue at this point that this game will turn on who makes the first mistake on offense and whose defense can capitalize.
Yeah, right away at the beginning here of the second half, I like the body language of Cranston East coming out of the locker room. They're all bouncing around. They're all into this game. They know they're not out of it. They're only down by 1 score, Casey. Very, very well-coached team. And, solid football team.
Luke Saccone will kick it off for the Ledyard Colonels. They're going right to left. Back deep, Gavitt for the Cranston East Thunderbolts. Here we go. Second half, Ledyard on top 7-0. Saccone driving kick toward the sideline. It skips out of bounds. Flag will go up right in front of C.J. Dummett, who let it slide out of bounds. And Ledyard, with that penalty, we'll see Cranston East will take possession of the football all the way up to their 35-yard line.
Hands on the hips of Coach Jim Bunicor, a costly mistake here to open the second half. And the one thing about Jimmy Bunicor, and you'll see this on Tuesday morning on theday.com, he is extremely animated on the sidelines, Casey.
Well, he's got a mic on as well as assistant coach Pasta Sanabria. Man, I can't wait to hear the comments coming out of that.
And I'm sure it's going to be edited.
So make sure Tuesday morning you tune in to the Peter Wappy-produced NFL film-style Game Day package, the highlights of today's game. It should be fun. Cranston East comes out in its pistol formation. John Anderson is the quarterback. He's in the shotgun. Snap. He's going to throw on first down. Quick hitter is tipped and caught by C.J. Dummett out on the outside. Dummett was defended by Justin Carter that time. Ball was tipped at the line by Jonathan Carver, but into the hands of Dummett. Gain of 2. Second down and 8. Ball at the 37-yard line. Whistle on the field. Maybe we'll have a little equipment issue. Somebody lost a piece of equipment. The officials are on top of that. Looks like a shoelace taking care of it. 2nd down and 8. Ball on the 37-yard line. Cranston East. Anderson in the shotgun. He's got Dummett wide right. And Hernandez wide left. Malik Gavick in the backfield with him. Anderson. Barking out the signals. Looks over at Dummett. Calls an audible on the line. Anderson signaling his running back. Gavick to move over to his left. They got to get this play off. There's a snap. Anderson's going to keep it himself. And nothing there. Big number 77. Mike Leandri in the middle of the pack drags Anderson down almost immediately. 3rd and 5.
A bit of confusion, that offensive set by Cranston East. They drove the play clock all the way down to 1 before it was snapped. And a bit of a different line adjustment that time by Cranston East. Run up the middle by the quarterback will bring up 3rd and 5, Casey. Big 3rd down here for the Ledyard defense to get off the field.
Yeah, he moved his running back, Malik Gavick, to the other side because he wanted a lead blocker. He was going to keep it himself, but he never could get past Leandri. 3rd and 5. This time he sends Hernandez wide left, Dummett wide right. Gavick is in the backfield to the left of quarterback John Anderson, who's in the shotgun. Ledyard bringing pressure, press coverage. Handoff goes to Gavick, and he is brought down immediately. Shooting the gap there for Ledyard was Matthew Nova, along with big number 75, Tanner Daggett. Ledyard holds on its first possession, and Cranston East is going to have to punt. Ball is spotted at the own 40-yard line, 4th and 4.
Gavick was looking for a cutback lane on that play and just had no place to go as the Ledyard linebackers pinched the middle of the field.
Jareel Rodriguez going to kick standing at his own 30, and again, Ledyard has nobody back to return. Rodriguez gets the punt off, and what a good punt this is. High spiral, lands at the 30, takes a Cranston East bounce, and is downed at the 27-yard line. Now that's going to say up to the 24-yard line. I thought it hit a Cranston East player, but they're going to mark it at the 22-yard line of Ledyard. 1st and 10 Ledyard. It's first possession of the second half. And Keith, why is Ledyard not returning these punts?
I don't understand that. They've got nobody back deep to receive on 4 punts by Cranston. Very odd. Do they not trust the special teams version of that? Do they think too many bad things will happen on a simple punt return, Casey? It's strange. I've never seen it.
I don't know what the story is, but
I will ask Coach Bunicor at the end of the game. I don't think it'd be out of line to ask that.
No, I think that's a good question to ask. All right, Ledyard, twins right. Ebden in the backfield. He's going to keep it himself. Nothing there that time for Ty Ebden. Coming out of the pile, Cranston East linebacker Steven Ferrazzano. And Ferrazzano got right into the run gap that time. Nothing there for Ebden. No gain. 2nd and 10, Ledyard. Ball at their own 23-yard line. Little confusion on the field. Ebden comes back with the play. Sanabria is his running back. He's got Saccone split left. Carver and Ebden to the right. Pressure by Bast. Handoff to DeShields. Sanabria. He's got some room. Cuts it to the right side. Cuts it off tackle. He's in the clear. It's a foot race. Manny DeShields. Sanabria. 20, 10. Touchdown Colonels! Manny DeShields Sanabria. 75-plus yards all the way to the house.
If you keep knocking on the door, sooner or later it's going to open up. And that time it opened up for Sanabria. Up the middle, bounced to the outside, and right up the right sideline and high-stepping his way into the end zone. Big play, huge run by the Ledyard Colonel offense.
And maybe we have to ask ourselves, do they have those big play threats after all? 13-0 Colonels on a huge run by Manny DeShields Sanabria, cutting it off the right side, bouncing it outside, and a foot race that he won. Saccone in for the extra point. Snap is good, but the kick is partially blocked and short, no good. That'll bring the score to Ledyard 13. Cranston East nothing. Early here. 9+ minutes here in the third period. 13-0 Ledyard. Wow, Keith, what a run.
Casey, you keep chipping up the middle, and sooner or later you're going to break one. We've talked about that when your defense is selling out against the run, bringing your linebackers up, bringing your corners up, and you're out there one-on-one against a safety, and that's what happens. Sanabria just his peripheral vision to cut it to the right and get up the sideline and find that lane through the middle of the field, Casey. Good run, early going.
It's the speed that really impressed me more than anything else. You know, he's a big kid, is the Shield Sanabria. He's 6 feet, 185 pounds. I knew he could bruise, and I saw some great vision like you did there, Keith, where he, cut it off tackle and bounced it outside, but it was really the speed that he showed there, out-racing everybody to the end zone. That was really very, very impressive.
Shades of JoJo Shoemaker burning a big one last year for the Ledyard Colonels. Big plays. They are momentum swingers. They are game changers, and Ledyard just got one right there. And that puts Cranston in that unenviable position of playing catch-up. We talked about them being one score down and a big play away, being right back in this game. Now they've got to come from behind.
Sanabria just absolutely turned the Jets on and gave Ledyard a big boost. Sacone's going to kick off from his own 40-yard line. Gavick back deep for Cranston East. Cranston East left to right. The kick by Sacone this time drives it straight up the middle and taken by Anderson. John Anderson picked it up that time, but his knee was down, so at the 30-yard line they'll spot it. John Anderson, the upback, took it for Cranston East, and it looked like he was going to try to turn and hand it off to Gavick, but he's the quarterback. Run it.
John Anderson is everywhere. He's cornerback. He's on the punt team. He's on defense. He's on the kickoff team. What doesn't this kid do?
Well, right now he's on the wrong side of a 13-0 deficit. Ledyard High School on top here on your opening night of Game Day on theday.com. Casey O'Neill along with the sports doctor, Keith O'Brien. We got our stats guru to our left and the junior member of Game Day over in the corner.
Both of which are mystery men for you folks at home.
Not telling anybody anything. Anderson, a little motion that time. We're going to have another flag, and there's another penalty on that offensive line of Cranston East. I think right now they're just a little spooked by the pressure Ledyard defense.
A little deja vu here in the second half. Again, false starts, hurting yourselves. Some bad penalties that carried over in the first half. And, right now, I mean, this Ledyard defense, why wouldn't they be in full attack mode right now? They got a 2-score lead. The Cranston East offense is shown to be one-dimensional, so they are in full force coming forward with that defense.
Cranston East shoots number 20. Alex Martinez wide left. Dummett is wide right. Anderson, snap, throws, and incomplete, broken up by Luke Sacone, who drove on the ball that time. Pass was intended for Martinez, and Sacone gave it no chance. Nice job out there in the corner.
You got Colin Caruth coming off the outside on the edge on a little bit of a blitz, and you got Luke Sacone jumping the route and making things very, very difficult for Cranston East. Those two kids are a handful over there for the Ledyard defense.
Yeah, Kraut is a monster on the outside. And it's funny, we talked, Cranston East has over 700 boys, but not a big offensive line. So not a lot of big size from Cranston East, and this Ledyard team matches up very well with them. Second down and 12. Anderson keeps it himself, tries to find something to the outside right. No good. Nothing there. Jonathan Carver on the tackle. Carver, the weak side linebacker, right there to stop Anderson, brings up a 3rd and 12.
Tanner Daggett seems to be getting a lot of action in the middle there, too. He is a big load to move for that Ledyard defensive line.
Yep, Patriot fans out there, he's the Vince Wilfork of this Ledyard defense. You know that in the 3-4, you need a nose tackle who can...
Oh, and he is. He's number 75. That's it.
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about once in a while. Can talk about multiple things, even though I'm not a Patriots fan per se. I can appreciate.
We'll save that for
Vince
the fourth
Wilfork.
quarter.
3rd and long for Cranston East. Anderson. Nope, new quarterback, and Anderson drops it down. Anderson tried to set up one of those screens we talked about to number 35, Andre Garcia, but it fooled no one. Knocked down by Derek Johnson, and that's going to bring up 4th down, and Cranston East is going to have to punt.
Interesting to see. Probably nobody back again for Ledyard on a punt. I will certainly ask Coach Bunicor about this. I don't understand it, Casey. How do you not put a guy deep back for punting?
Well, the deepest guy for Ledyard is Austin Brandt.
He's 10 yards off the line of scrimmage.
And he's playing safety, basically. He's not deep. Snap is good. Punt is not as good a punt this time. Very short. Takes a little bit of a Cranston bounce, but it won't even reach the 40-yard line. Ledyard's going to set up shop in great field position at the Cranston East 37-yard line.
I think it would be safe to say here the Ledyard defense has certainly dictated the pace and the tempo of this game. I mean, their offense has made a couple big plays. I know they had the big run by Sanabria last time out, but their defense has really, really dictated the pace of this entire game, Casey.
Now we're going to see them. They've had some different success here this last drive. Let's see if they keep feeding the running back, or if they're going to start throwing the ball. Ebden, quick throw, out in the flat to Sacone. Sacone trying to break a tackle, Can't quite do it. Dragged down by Malik Gavek out on the outside. Gavek saves a touchdown as Saccone, and that's the kind of pass, high level, high percentage of success.
Quick little pitch and catch for Ebden out there. Easy 10, 12 yards with the defender laying off the receiver.
Ledyard right up to the line of scrimmage. Ebden in the shotgun. And we're going to have some motion that time. The guard of Ledyard, number 57, Jeffrey O'Hanlon, he was pulling, but I think he pulled a little too quick. We're going to get a legal procedure against the Colonels.
And Cranston East showed blitz up the middle that time and kind of spooked your Ledyard offensive line. Timing thrown off in that play just a tad.
It's going to bring up 1st and 15. Ball at the Cranston East 25-yard line. Saccone is split left. Wide right, Max Ebden and Justin Carter. DeShield Sanabria is the lone setback. Ebden running a little option, keeps it himself, gets to the left end. Nice gain on 1st down by Ty Ebden. Gain of 6. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 9, right around the 20-yard line of Cranston East.
Big tackle on the Cranston East bench by Jay Bast, sideline to sideline on that play. The all-world junior for Cranston East, making a good stop right there on that one.
But, we haven't called his name as much lately as we had in the first couple of plays, so certainly Ledyard has knows where he is and has done a nice job staying away from him. Great matchup here on the bottom. Saccone covered by Dummett. Ebden in the shotgun. Snap, hands it to DeShield Sanabria. He bounces it off, then cuts it back inside. Great vision that time, but nothing there as Cranston East really pursued well to the ball. John Anderson, the quarterback / defensive back, wrapped up DeShield Sanabria that time, and it's going to be 3rd and 5.
Anderson's one of those guys where you got to marvel his athleticism. He's got a motor out there, Casey. He is doing it all for Cranston East.
3rd and 5.
And I don't believe he's come off the field yet.
No, he doesn't come off the field. He's actually going to sleep here at the end of the game because he runs sideline to sideline to get the plays, too. 3rd and 5. Ebden, botched snap, and he fumbled with it, but he held on to it. Got it to Sanabria, but immediately brought down in the play. Kind of a botched play. It's going to bring up 4th and 8 from the 19. I'm going to see here if they're going to try to kick a Luke Saccone field goal or if they're going to go for it on 4th and 8. Looks like they're going to go for it. Saccone's going to stay in his wide receiver position. Carter's going to stay in the slot along with Ebden, Max Ebden. And Ty Ebden's looking for the play from Coach Jimmy Bunicor on the Ledyard sideline. 4th and 9 from the 19-yard line. 13-0 Ledyard here in the 3rd period. Snap to Ebden. Pressure. Ball's thrown in the end zone for Saccone. He's open. Touchdown, Ledyard Colonels. 19 yards, Ty Ebden on the post route to Luke Saccone. 19-0 Colonels.
Definitely blown coverage by the Cranston East secondary on that play. Ebden fumbled the snap, had to re-grip the ball, and hung in there and threw a nice pass to Saccone in the back part of the end zone. Well, passing game coming alive in the second half for the Ledyard Colonels.
Saccone finding some room. Like you said, busted the coverage of Dummett. Got it to the post. Ledyard's going to go for 2 here, up 19-0. Pitch and toss, and in is Devin Condi. Devin Condi, the senior running back, took the snap, direct pitch to him, and he went in off a right tackle for the 2-point conversion. 21-0. Ledyard on top here in the 3rd period. Colonels now putting a little dominance on the Cranston East Thunderbolts.
Yeah, Ebden got himself finally, Casey, into some sort of passing rhythm there. A couple of quick hitters on the sidelines. Looked a little sharper with his balls, a little more, a little more precise with his delivery. Not late on throws. A good drive that time by quarterback Ty Ebden and the Ledyard Colonels. 32 yards passing on that drive for Ebden, and stepping up and making plays like a senior does. So Ty Ebden's kind of settled into this game here a little bit. Obviously the defense is setting a tone, but Ebden's got a real good feel for what's going on now in the field as quarterback.
And now Ledyard is in a very enviable position. They can continue to put that pressure on defensively, but they don't have to worry about giving up the big play, up 21-0. Feeling very, very confident are the Ledyard Colonels. 21-0 here in the 3rd period. You're listening to Game Day on theday.com. Casey O'Neill along with Keith O'Brien. And the Ledyard Colonels are our featured game here of Week 1 of Friday Night Football, high school game day. Colonels playing host to the Cranston, Rhode Island East Thunderbolts, who made the journey here to Bill Mignaut Field and find themselves on the wrong side of a 21-0 score here in the third period. 5:41 remaining here in the third quarter. Senior Luke Saccone is going to kick it off for the Ledyard Colonels. They are going right to left. Saccone drives the ball straight through. Anderson picks it up at the 20-yard line. He's going to fake around and ends up giving it to one of his deep backs on the little chicanery.
Well, trickery.
That was Dave Todd who ended up with the football. And Ledyard really wasn't all that fooled by it. And Cranston East will set up shop at about their own 30-yard line. Flag on the play, so we're going to see what that's all about. Looks like the officials are moving Cranston East back. Ball is going to be spotted at the 35-yard line. Now they're walking it back. Personal foul against Cranston East. So they're going to mark it off. It will be first down, but they're going to take it from the 22 and walk, from the 32 and walk backwards. And Cranston East will set up shop all the way back at their own 15-yard line. Yuck. Not where you want to be with that Ledyard defense having a 21-point lead. They're going to pin their ears back now.
Now, it's a long field now for Cranston in a very, very suspect passing game.
Anderson. Cranston East. Handoff goes up the middle to Gavitt. And no gain there. And we do have a new quarterback in the game. Number 7, Steven Alvarez, is in the game for Cranston East. The junior taking his first snap of the game. So we're going to see a little bit of a different look for Cranston East, down 21-0. Senior John Anderson did not take that snap. So we're going to have Alvarez as the quarterback now. Alvarez in the pistol formation on 2nd and 8. Alvarez hands the ball off to Gavitt. Gavitt's got the edge. Gavitt tries to cut it back up, but nothing there as Colin Krauth ran sideline to sideline with him. Look at the speed of Colin Krauth tracking down the running back, Malik Gavitt. Nice play by Krauth.
Quick pursuit, sideline to sideline from the linebackers and the corners and safeties is something that Coach Bunicor works on every single day with his defense. He works hands-on, Casey, with the defensive secondary, especially the linebacking core. And just the basic fundamentals of football showing through for Ledyard here on the defensive end of the ball.
Malik Gavitt had to come off the field, so now you got Anderson in the game as a running back. Oh, you got Alvarez taking the snap. Alvarez looking to throw. Pressure. Nothing there. And down goes Alvarez. Curtis Patsiga brings him down. Patsiga, a senior linebacker, sacks Alvarez, and that's going to bring up 4th down and great defensive series again for the Ledyard defense. 4th and 13, and out of his own end zone, Jariel Rodriguez will have to kick from his own end zone.
With nobody back for Ledyard to receive.
Again. Yeah, make sure we ask that question. Cranston East having to bring a player onto the field here. They're all kinds of discombobulated right now. Anderson directing traffic. I think we've got it set now. Snap is good. Kick is good. Nice end-over-end punt. Lands at the 35-yard line and takes a Cranston East bounce. Ledyard will have the ball at the Cranston East 45-yard line. So Ledyard in great field position. Imagine if they had somebody return the punt.
I am not going to question the coach. I am going to question the coach. I am going to ask him the question.
We're going to literally question him.
I know. I am going to go down to the field after the game, and I'm going to ask him the question. I'm not going to question him as coach and his strategy, but just I'm curious. I'm curious to the thought process of not having somebody back deep to receive a punt.
I've known Jimmy Bunicor for 40 years.
Sure.
38 years.
Okay.
And he's been a good friend, and I will tell you, he knows more about football in the left side of his head than I do.
Damn.
So I'm not questioning what he's doing, but I'm going to question what he's doing. I'm going to go down there and ask the question. Hand off to Shields, Sanabria, and he has got the ball up for a gain of about 3. Manny to Shield Sanabria. 2nd and 7 for the Colonels, and I think they're going to try to exert a little will here, up 21-0 in the third period.
They're going to chip away at the middle of the Cranston East defense with the run. They're going to chip away at the clock a little bit, too. The clock is their friend. They've got what seemingly be their comfortable lead right now, and stay aggressive on offense, keep pushing forward, but no need to take a lot of risks right now in this game, Casey, if you're Jimmy Bunicor.
No, you see them slowing it down, taking their time, being very deliberate. Ebden hands it off to his brother, Max Ebden, to the outside, nothing there. In on the tackle, Cranston East linebacker Isom, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and 8. About 2 minutes remaining here in the third period, 21-0 Ledyard on top. Ebden, the quarterback, that's senior Ty Ebden, not to be confused with sophomore Max Ebden, his younger brother. Sends Saccone wide left, Carter and Ebden along, so we got trips left for the Colonels. DeShields Sanabria in the backfield. Ebden gives it to DeShields Sanabria, and he's brought down almost immediately. Big J Baston on the play that time, along with number 51, Zach Hubbard for Cranston East, and it's going to bring up 4th and 7, and we'll see what Ledyard does on the short field.
A read option play that time by the quarterback, Ebden, and he decided to hand it off to the running back, DeShields Sanabria. One of those plays where he had some room on the outside. If Ebden would have kept it himself, he probably could have picked up a good 6 or 7 yards. And that's the read option. It's you give or you take.
From his own 55, Saccone, back deep is Dummett. Saccone, good snap, takes his time, big left foot, and that was not his best effort by Luke Saccone. Ball's out of bounds at the 27-yard line, and they're still walking. They're at the 30-yard line. Cranston East will take over its own 30-yard line late here in the third period at Bill Mignault Field on the campus of Ledyard High School. 21-0. Colonels on top of the Thunderbolts, all the way from Rhode Island. Cranston East traveled all the way here to Ledyard. Now, those of you just tuning in, Cranston East, over 700 boys at Cranston East High School. That's the equivalent of a Class L school. And they are a good team. They are expected to make some noise in the Rhode Island division that they're in. So this is a big win if Ledyard can hold on here tonight. The equivalent of like an 8-win L win for the Colonels. Alvarez, still at quarterback. Hands off on the edge to Shareem Nathaniel. Nathaniel breaks a tackle and then is cleaned up. What a hit there that time by Justin Carter, but not until Shareem Nathaniel had a nice gain of 9 yards. Nice running play that time. 2nd and 1 for Cranston East.
Tough running by the senior running back. He took it to the outside and, like you said, had a little bit of room, paid a bit of a big pop at the end of the run, but some tough running there for Cranston East.
2nd and 8 from the 37-yard line. Cranston East sends Joe Hernandez left, C.J. Dummett to the right. Stephen Alvarez, hands the ball straight off the middle. Again, it goes to Nathaniel for the first down. First down run by Shareem Nathaniel. That'll move the chains. Something Cranston East has struggled to do throughout the course of this game. Just simply move the chains.
Yeah, tough sledding up the middle, and the inefficiency in the passing game really, and the Ledyard front 7 or 8 just really dictating pace in this game, Casey.
1st and 10. Cranston East with the ball at their own 44-yard line, and we're going to get the end of the third period. That's the end of the third period. Your score at the end of 3, Ledyard 21, Cranston East 0. You're listening to GameDay live on theday.com. Tonight's game is brought to you by the M.J. Sullivan Automotive Corner and Connecticut Family Magazine. That third quarter that just ended was sponsored by Connecticut Family Magazine. This fourth quarter will be sponsored by M.J. Sullivan Automotive Center. M.J. Sullivan Hyundai, where no money down means no money down. You can lease a 2015 Hyundai Sonata Sport for no money down and only $279 a month for 36 months. They'll pay your first payment. They'll pay your upfront sales tax. They will pay registration and dealer conveyance fees. You pay $0 down and $279 a month for a 2050 Hyundai Sonata Sport. Only at M.J. Sullivan Hyundai, corner of Broad and Coleman Streets in New London. If you want to take a look at their entire inventory, go to mjsullivanauto.com.
Checking out scores throughout the rest of the ECC. New London leads East Lyme 25-0 at the end of the third quarter. Whalers kicking things into high gear early. Killingly 22-21 over Griswold. 9 minutes left to go in that game. Wyndham and Waterford is tied at 14 with 5 minutes to go in the game. And Plainfield and Fitch. 27 for Plainfield, 20 for Fitch, just at the end of the third quarter. So there are your scores from around the ECC. And next week we will be at East Lyme High School to see the Vikings take on the refurbished Fitch Falcons under first-year coach Mike Ellis Jr.
Yeah, and certainly I think both Fitch and East Lyme had wanted better early results than what they've got. East Lyme being shut out by New London and Fitch down a touchdown to Plainfield. I think both teams are hoping for better. So next week might be both of those programs' first opportunity at a victory. Someone's going to come out of there with a win.
You would think.
First down, Cranston East. Alvarez hands the ball off again, this time to Kayshawn Felix. Felix with a gain of 3 brings the ball almost to midfield, up to the 47-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd and 7 for Cranston East, and they're going a lot simpler with Alvarez as quarterback, doing a lot of running in between the tackles.
Finding some different combinations right now as Cranston East, finding out what's going to work, whether it's not for this game and the end of this game or moving forward in their season. Finding a little bit of offensive identity is going to be key for them here in the fourth quarter.
Alvarez on the outside. Nathaniel cuts it back upside. Still on his feet. Back to the middle of the field. Nice run in that time. Shaheem Nathaniel. Great run, but there's a flag on the play. That looks like that's going to be a little extracurricular activity down there. Let's see which way that goes. But Shaheem Nathaniel showing some moves down there. Nice run. Getting Cranston East another first down.
Back-to-back shifty runs by Nathaniel. He's showed some quick legs and showed some quick feet. And another penalty. Another dead ball personal foul against Cranston East here, Casey.
Wow, the 9th penalty of the day by Cranston East. And we've seen all varieties. We've seen illegal formations. We've seen illegal motion. We've seen unsportsmanlike conduct. We've seen a hold. We've seen a little bit of everything by Cranston East today. Not the way you want to start off, bringing the ball back onto your side of things. It'll be second down on their own 45-yard line for Cranston East and negating that really outstanding 20-plus yard run by Shaheem Nathaniel. That was the second longest run of the night by Cranston East, negated by the unsportsmanlike penalty. So they'll be 2nd and 10 from their own 45-yard line. Alvarez in the pistol. Takes the snap. Hand off to Nathaniel. Nathaniel up the middle, breaks a tackle. Gains back about 8 of the yards. It's going to bring up 3rd and short, 3rd and 2, as Nathaniel gets Cranston East over midfield to the Ledyard 48-yard line.
Some fresh legs in the game for Cranston East right now, paying dividends a little bit. Quick in the hole. Good vision up front. Gets through that first wave, and he's got himself 6 or 7 yards.
Yeah, I like Shaheem Nathaniel's quickness. There's no fooling around. There's no cutting. He's going to the hole, and he is north and south. Very quick, though. So when he gets to the second level, if he can bounce it outside, he's got the speed to go. 3rd and short. Cranston East trying to get their first points of the 2015 season. Alvarez in the shotgun. Drops back. He's looking to throw. Has Bast open for a first down, but a flag on the play. Jay Bast with his first reception of the day, the tight end, all the way down to the Ledyard 35-yard line, but flag on the play. Let's see which way this one's going. Officials are going to confer. They're not moving the football just yet, so it looks like that one might be a hold in the secondary against the Colonels. And if that's the case, Cranston East will have a first down at the Ledyard 35-yard line. Officials still converging, trying to figure out where they're going to move the football. They're talking to the Ledyard defense. I don't know if they're Jimmy Bunicor walking on the field saying, can we back him back up?
Yep.
So that one is going to go against Cranston East. Let's see what the penalty is. Looks like ineligible receiver downfield, against Cranston East. Man, how many different ways can you shoot yourself in the foot?
Because on nice gains.
Yeah.
On nice gains, on positive plays.
And instead of instead of 3rd and short resulting in a first down, they back themselves up back again on the other side of midfield. So they're back in their territory again at the 48-yard line. And now they've got a 4th down and 7 because that's a loss of down. So a bad penalty that time. I mean, really bad penalties by Cranston East. 4th and 8. Ball at the 48-yard line. 40 make that the 47-yard line of Cranston East. Alvarez leads them out of the huddle and sends Sam Hanley wide to the left. He's got Nathaniel in the backfield. Alvarez going to throw. Looking for Hanley. Dumps it in the middle, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Jonathan Carver. The weak side linebacker, Jonathan Carver, steps in front of Sam Hanley and intercepts the pass. Turnover, Cranston East. Hold Ledyard defense. 21-0 Colonels.
Ledyard defense in full command here in the fourth quarter here at Bill McNaught Stadium. Casey, that was just a play of a linebacker stepping in, watching the quarterback's eyes. He got fixated on his first target, never took his eyes off it, and stepped in and made a nice play. That was actually an easy interception.
Colonel's now in a position to take some time off the clock. Max Ebden wide right, Ty Ebden the quarterback. Ebden on a delay, draw to DeShield Sanabria. Nothing there. He's going to lose 2, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 12 for the Colonels. 9 minutes remaining here in the fourth period. You're listening to Game Day on theday.com. Casey O'Neill along with Keith O'Brien, the stat guru to my left, and the junior voice of Game Day over in the right-hand corner, flexing his muscles at me. We've got a handsome and talented crew this year, led by the sports doctor, the most passionate man in southeastern Connecticut.
Second next to Mike tomorrow.
No, I think you got him on the passion. He might.
All right.
There's no one more excited than Keith O'Brien. I love every second of it. Ebden, going to keep it himself, has a hole up the middle, cuts it to the outside. Ty Ebden's got some room. He's in the secondary. It's a foot race. He's got to beat one man and shoved out of bounds by Malik Gavick all the way down inside the 20-yard line. What a big run by senior quarterback Ty Ebden.
Ty can do it all, Casey. We've talked about this time. This is his senior leader, and he's out there making plays. He got himself in the passing rhythm in the first half, and right now, Ledyard is just kind of patiently picking their spots a little bit. Cranston East back on their heels.
Backbreaker that time as Ebden takes it all the way down to the 15-yard line, and if it weren't for some hustle by Malik Gavick, he would have kept going. What a big run by Ty Ebden.
100 yards rushing for Ty Ebden in the game.
Ledyard, first down at its own 15. Ebden in the shotgun. Runs the option. Kicks it out left to DeShields. Sanabria. And Sanabria brings it inside the 10-yard line to the 9, where it will be 2nd down and 6. Make it 5. 2nd and 5. They're Ledyard Colonels in scoring position down, knocking on the door of Cranston East.
Coach Jimmy Budicore talked about game management. Right now, he's managing this game. He's looking at the clock. He's playing it safe. He's keeping his guys fresh on the field. He's going to run that play clock all the way down to 1 or 2 before he snaps the ball.
Coaches find a lot of things to work on week to week, and he will certainly have a lot to work on, but not a lot of penalties, not a lot of turnovers, very crisp. Manage the game. That's what he said they needed to do, manage the game. Ebden keeps it himself, and he's down to about the 5-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd and about a yard. Last year, he wasn't trying to be arrogant by any stretch, but they were so good last year. He knew that they had a lot of these games won. And like he said, they were managing the 50-point rule. Last year there were times where his goal was to not let his team become rusty because they were going to be out so big on people. He said this year there's no more of that. This year there's 4-quarter games. He's going to find out, and he admitted, he goes, I'm going to find out how good a coach I am because I'm going to have to really do some things differently. So far, so good. 21-0. They are going jumbo. No shotgun this time. Ty Ebden's under center. Little misdirection. He hands it to Max Ebden. Max Ebden breaking a tackle, trying to get to the outside. Can't quite do it. We'll find out where the spot is. Max Ebden got close to the marker, but I think he's going to be just a teeny bit short. It's going to bring up 4th and about half a yard. Ball spotted at the 6.5-yard line of Cranston East. 4th and a yard and a half.
Nowhere to run that time for Max up the middle. He bounced it to the outside, and he was met by a swarm of Thunderbolt players.
A swarm of Thunderbolts. I like that. 21-0. Ledyard on top. Here late. Time ticking away on the Cranston East Thunderbolts. 4th down and a yard and a half. Back to its traditional multiple set here for Ledyard. Twins left. Saccone to the right. In motion. DeShields, Sanabria gets the hand off, cuts to the outside, flag on the play. We're going to have a hold. He's in for the touchdown, and that one's not going to count, I'm afraid. Holding against the Colonels, negating a touchdown by Manny DeShields, Sanabria. That would have been his second, but that one is coming back.
Derek Johnson, guilty of the hold on the outside, and everybody could see it. I always like to see when the defender, when he holds and he let goes, and he throws his arm up in the air.
Who,
it wasn't me.
It was funny because the flag went up immediately, and it's almost like the play could have just stopped because everyone knew what was going on, and there was no huddle, there was no no conference,
and always 100% of the time, the guilty party always throws up his hand in the air and says, "Wait, what did it mean? It wasn't me."
What'd I do? So the ball's back all the way up to the 16-yard line, almost to the 20. Ebden will take the snap on the 25-yard line. 4th and 15. Ebden, quick drop, throws the ball in the end zone. He's hit as he throws, up in the air. A battle for it, incomplete. Great defense that time by Dave Todd. He was battling with Max Ebden, but that pass never really had a chance because Ty Ebden was hit just as he got rid of the ball. A blitzing Andre Garcia, who sacked Ebden earlier in the game on that same play.
I was going to call a back shoulder throw to his brother there, but that wasn't quite the back shoulder. It was a throw that never got there. You're right. He was hit on the play. The penalty really hurt them, negated the touchdown run. They will give the ball up to Cranston East on downs. Casey, couple of things here. Looking forward, at the end of this game, Ledyard has got to be happy with what they see.
Yeah, I think offensively, like Mike DeMauro said, you can't rely on 100 yards rushing from your quarterback, but he's thrown the ball better when he's been given time. Certainly, they've gotten some great work on the ground from DeShields, Sanabria, and on the defensive side of things, I think he's just thrilled. Another new quarterback in the game, this time Randy Duran, another junior quarterback for Cranston East, and he handed the ball off for a short gain on first down. It's going to bring up 2nd and 9. Cranston East with the ball at their own 32-yard line.
It is the old school style of play calling for Cranston East. The quarterback comes to the sidelines after every single play. He gathers the play from the coordinator, goes back into the huddle. There is no miscommunication there.
No, and Duran, the junior quarterback, he's going to have Shaheem Nathaniel in the backfield with him. So Cranston East has run 3 different quarterbacks today, obviously setting up some time for people later in the year. Pitch it goes out to Nathaniel. Nathaniel cuts it back. He's going to go all the way around to the other side of the field. Now back up the middle again. He's skipping and hopping like a water bug. Cuts it back inside. Back outside again. Which way is this kid going to go? Shaheem Nathaniel all the way to midfield before Manny DeShields Sanabria finally brings him down at midfield. But, man, he's like Dave. Remember Dave Meggett? He's like
look at that
Dave
little Meggett. Look at that little Meggett go. Spark going into the Thunderbolts here late in the game, and what a dynamic run! And he's had 2 or 3 of those. He's got 83 yards on 5 carries. Casey O'Neill from the Stat Guru.
Well, he went 83 yards on that play alone, going just side to side. I mean, he covered almost every inch of. He looks like my golf game, covering every inch of the course.
Oh boy, you're one of those.
Randy Duran. Going to keep it himself this time. No, stood up immediately and dragged to the ground by big 77 Mike Leandri. That one wasn't going anywhere. Actually, I'm a fine golfer, but I find self-deprecating comments to make people feel a little bit at ease.
Do you have a handicap?
I do.
You have a handicap?
I do. I got a GIN number, sure. Got a handicap.
Really?
Yeah.
Single digit?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
No. Once upon a time, before I...
Now, where's your home course, or do you play all over?
I play all over.
Don't tell me Chanticleer, because if you have a handicap at Chanticleer, it doesn't count.
My handicap is not from Chanticleer. My home course for the purposes of logging my rounds is Chanticleer, but my rounds are played almost exclusively at Norwich and at Great Neck Country Club in Waterford, New London.
We have a Cranston East player down on the field right now being attended to by the coaching staff. I didn't quite see the number, but he was being attended. I had not played a lot of golf this year. I played golf down at Hilton Head when I went down there in
South Carolina.
June, for my cousin's wedding.
Nice.
I played a Trent Jones course, and I hit the ball very often.
Well, I had one of the highlights of my sports/golf career life this year. So my father is the retired athletic director at both Waterford High School and of course New London High School, the great New London Legion coach, and many time champion at Great Neck and New London Country Club. He's won the club championship. He's won the senior championship, and this year I had the opportunity to play in the member guest with my father, and that was one of the highlights of my life. And I got to experience just how good he is. He's at 70 years old. My father is 70 years old, and for 54 holes, shot one over par.
Number 50, Sal Rodriguez coming off the field for the Thunderbolt. He seems to have a right ankle injury, and he is being assisted off and seems to be okay. No pressure on it. We will keep an eye on that as we move forward. I have not played a lot of golf. I've played at Great Neck in the past. I played at Hilton Head this year. I played a round of golf over at the Cedar Ridge, the par 3.
Par 3 in East Lyme.
Oh, I played very well.
Par 3 in East Lyme,
yeah,
of course.
Played very well.
Can throw the ball from most of those tees, but that's all right.
How's Norwich? How are the greens rolling in Norwich these days?
Norwich is beautiful. Norwich's difficulty isn't in the greens; it's in the hilly nature of the course. For the amateur, for the untrained player, a lot of uphill and downhill lies, which usually
of course hole number 4.
Snake bite everybody.
Hole number 4 is all uphill.
Yeah, the second hole is all side hill. It's
elevated green. Yeah.
So everything in Norwich is about that. For the average player, the distance in Norwich is easy. The greens aren't the problem. The problem at Norwich for the average person is they don't know how to do side hills and uphills and things like that are troublesome for the average player. So
yeah, I didn't know that about you. I didn't know you were a golfer. I'm finding out more and more about you as we
There
go
is
on.
not a sport that I have not at one time played competitively.
We will not get into the soccer thing here because we still have a game to broadcast.
Absolutely. And the quarterback remains in the game, remains Randy Durant. Great snap. No one to hand off to is Durant, and he is going to finally get it outside to Kayshawn Felix, but little miscommunication that way. Durant wanted to hand it to Felix on his right. Felix wanted to get it on the left. Finally, it got to Felix, and the play went backwards. 3rd and 15 for Cranston East. We are down now at about 4 minutes here remaining in the ball game. 21-0, Colonels on top of the Thunderbolts, all the way from Cranston, Rhode Island. Cranston East has the ball 3rd and 15 from their own 45-yard line. Duran from the pistol gets the snap, hands the ball off to Wesley Isom, and Isom is swallowed up. That Ledyard defense has been really, really good. Daggett, Leandri, and Nova up front. Krauth, Johnson, O'Hanlon, and Carver and the linebackers, they have been flying.
Oh, and they have not stopped. I mean, whether it's 0-0 or 21-0, this Ledyard defense seems to be early going here. The signature of their team. Coach Bunicor ranted and raved about the group he had up front. They've been with the team 2 and 3 years. He was very confident in these young men, and they are making plays. And it doesn't matter if it's the first quarter or the fourth quarter late in the game, 100% effort by the Colonels.
4th and 20. Duran, he's going to throw. In the air, he puts it, and it's intercepted by Saccone. And he's going to go for a Ledyard touchdown. But no, he is going to do the sportsman-like thing. Wow.
Wow, he took a knee.
And I'll tell you, as a radio broadcaster, he just completely put the kibosh on what would have been a fantastic pick six.
He took a knee at the 1-yard line.
He picked six. He had a pick six.
Pick six.
Luke Saccone stepped in front of that ball. This had 28-0 written all over it, and he went down to the 1-yard line, and instead of going into the end zone, he took a knee. And there's still 2 minutes and change remaining here in the football game. And if Ledyard's going to take a knee and run the clock out, I get that. But otherwise, Luke Saccone could have had himself a touchdown. He just chose to be an uber sportsman. Good for you, Luke Saccone.
Wow. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I could have done that as a player. I would have walked into the end zone and celebrated and Gronk style spiked the ball, I guess. And that guy even agrees with me. Stat Guy, he agrees with me. Stat Guy says, listen, I will spike that ball into the heavens.
21-0's not 41-0. It's not a blowout by that stretch. And you know what?
You're gonna ask Luke about that? I'm gonna ask Coach Bunicor about the punt formation.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I don't believe for 1 second his intent was to embarrass anybody. I think his intent was to not run up the score in his mind. I think they're clearly there. They're playing their third quarterback. They're struggling, and I think he saw an opportunity to do what he thought was a sportsmanlike thing. I'm not going to ever criticize a kid for doing something that he thought was sportsmanlike. I'm going to suggest that at 21-0 with 2.5 minutes left, he's well within his right to go into the end zone there. I mean, it's 28-0. There's no 50-point rule here in play. There's nothing like that. And I don't know if I'm the other team, if I appreciate that or not. That might irk me a little bit too. Like, really? It's only 21-0, dude. You don't have to. But I'm never going to criticize a kid for being a good sport ever.
And looks like Ledyard's going to come out in the victory formation, obviously here. Jumbo package.
Yep, Ebden is going to take a knee.
Victory formation.
And they're going to try to run this clock out. And if they can successfully run this clock out, then I'm going to say, you know what? Kudos to you, Luke Saccone. Kudos to you, Jimmy Bunicor, running out the clock here at Bill Mignault Field with a 21-0 lead. You know what? Saccone could have gone in and sort of put the exclamation point on this thing, but you know what? I'm gonna say that is a completely honorable play there by Luke Saccone. So. Nice job. Nice to see some. That
class act.
Because how many high school kids don't want to be on the center stage? How many don't want to hear me yell a pick 6 call on the radio for them, and instead take a knee? So good for you, Luke Saccone.
No, he's done the right thing. He is Stat Guru's closing up his computer real quick, and I want to get some numbers for you guys here as we close out the end of the game and get some numbers on Ty Ebden because he has played a terrific game at quarterback. And Casey, real quick, Ebden is the horse. He is, 5 for 13 carries for 106 yards for Ty Ebden, and 13 for 143 for Manny the Shields. Passing numbers on Ebden for the game. We have those, Stat Guru. Real quick. 3 for 11 for 35 yards. So not a lot going on today for Ledyard in the passing game, but they ran the ball for close to 200 yards today, Casey. A couple of big plays, for Santa Maria, a couple big plays for Ebden, and Ledyard will get out of here in week 1 with a 21-0 victory over Cranston East, and you got to think that Coach Bunicor is happy with the way week 1 has unfolded for his Colonels.
Yeah, a shutout defensively. A couple of touchdown passes from his senior quarterback, plus 100 yards. Some great running by his junior running back, and a defense that was, tenacious beyond belief. Really putting pressure. I mean, what a great job. Well, let's credit that Ledyard defense again. Leandri, Daggett, Nova, Krauth, Johnson, O'Hanlon, Carver, Saccone, Carter, DeShields, Sanabria, and Ebden. What a great job they did pitching this shutout today on what is a good Cranston East football team. And that's going to do it here, ladies and gentlemen, at Big Bill Mignault Field on the campus of the Ledyard High School Colonels. Your final score tonight, 21 for Ledyard, 0 for the Thunderbolts of Cranston East. Tonight was your first excursion on GameDay, live on theday.com. For Keith O'Brien, the sports doctor, and our stat guru, I'm Casey O'Neill, and we're going to let the junior member of GameDay tell you.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening to GameDay, live on thegameday.com.
Wow.
There you have it. Join us next week. We'll have Fitch, East Lyme. Next Friday night, 6:30. You were watching GameDay on theday.com.